Do beep beep beep. This is traffic on Sports 56, and we'll have it again as it breaks. Tina Tires.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Welcomes you to the Peter Edmiston Experience
With CJ Hurt. This hour of the experience is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Yo, welcome back to the experience. This is the first show of 2020, bringing in the new year the right way. We were off yesterday. Hope everybody had a safe, successful, and happy New Year's Day. We got a lot to get to today during the show. We are going to be joined at 8 o'clock by John Gassaway to talk college basketball. Bowl games got hot and heavy yesterday as well. We're going to talk a lot of bowl games. Grizzlies are still just a game out of that eighth and final playoff spot. So we're going to talk, and they play the Kings tonight. So we're going to talk NBA basketball, talk Grizzlies as well. It is a cool day out. It's a cool, wet day. It is about 47 degrees right now. It's raining, so be careful when you're driving around. I know how people get nervous and freak out when it's raining, but just go a little bit slower. We can avoid some of these accidents. Be careful, be mindful. Don't text and drive, especially on wet, rainy days like today. Last night in the association, the Knicks knocked off the Trailblazers, even though Melo scored a season-high 26, 117-93. The Bucks and Giannis hold on to knock off the Timberwolves by 2 points, 106-104. LeBron James goes for a triple-double in the Lakers 117-107 victory over the Phoenix Suns. In college basketball, Wichita State wins. They are now number 24 in the nation, which is a big deal because Memphis plays Wichita State the next game. I think it's Thursday coming up. So that is something to certainly keep an eye on. In the NFL, Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio, both are going to be coaches in Washington. Rivera is going to be head coach. Del Rio will be defensive coordinator in Washington. So Washington is moving along in their coaching search with their coaching hires. Dallas, on the other hand, to my knowledge, is still Jason Garrett. He has had so many meetings with the Joneses, Jerry Jones specifically, and nothing has been done. They're going to mess around and let Garrett stick around for another season, which is just like the Cowboys. Over in college football, in bowl games, in the Sugar Bowl, Jake Fromm goes off. Samir White also goes off. George Pickens goes off and wins most outstanding player of the bowl game as Georgia knocks off Baylor 26-14. In a thrilling Rose Bowl, Oregon wins by 1 against Wisconsin 28-27 behind Justin Herbert's 3 touchdown runs. One of them, the one to take the lead and put it away for good, was quite a doozy. Minnesota knocks off Auburn 31-24, and Alabama got squirrely there midway through the third quarter, but they found a way to pull away, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter, 21 unanswered points, 21 points in the second half. They hold on to knock off Michigan 35-16. No Peter again today, but we got my main man, Omari Sankofa of The Athletic, joining us in that co-hosting spot. Omari, man, how's everything been?
Man, it's going great. Man, I'm in the Peter seat today.
Yeah.
For those who don't know me, I'm the Grizzlies beat writer for The Athletic, and of course, I know that Peter also does that. So I guess I can't replace Peter Edmiston's name in the show though. Like I think we have to bump you up, and now it's the CJ Hurt show with Omari Sankofa.
Oh, okay. So I moved to that lead. Well, Brett Norsworthy says that my show should be called The Revolution, and so we might just
The Revolution.
tinker with the Revolution with CJ Hurt, I think, or CJ Hurt Revolution with Omari Sankofa. We could play with it some.
I like it. That's a little heavy for 7 a.m. I don't know. A little heavy for 7 a.m. I'm waking up. I'm getting my morning coffee, and I'm turning on the Revolution.
The Revolution. Let's get it.
CJ
Revolution
Hurts.
never sleeps, Omari.
I don't know,
Third
that's
eye
a
stay
sports show.
open.
That's how the sports show. CJ.
It's
I don't know.
open all the time. The third eye stays open. Follow Omari on Twitter at Omari Sankofa on there. He needs more followers. I do as well. Because I can't follow anybody else. I don't know if you know this about me, but I follow everybody with no expectation of a follow back. I just want to follow everybody because I'm nosy like that. I want to be in everybody's business. I don't know who I follow either. I follow like 5,000 people, and Twitter won't let me follow anybody else.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's like bot behavior. They probably figured, this isn't really guy. This guy
Yes.
he's like trying to farm content or something. This doesn't really add up.
That's exactly what it is. So please follow me. I won't tell you my Twitter handle because we got somebody very special who's gonna do that for us over on the other side. He don't eat meat. He can't be beat. Yeah, you didn't know that was coming, did you, Omari? Omari perked up. Like, what's going on? My man don't scream. In your wildest dreams, he has no body else than Similac Zach, America's soy toy. What up, Zach?
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much. How was the New Year celebration?
New Year was decent. I didn't go out. I just stayed at the house. Get some extra rest.
That's good.
Take advantage of the time that people are out. Gallivanting around, celebrating.
Gallivanting? Are we gallivanting on New Year's Eve?
I mean, some people are.
I was out. I don't know if I was doing that.
What were you doing? I don't think I was It's been so long, Zach, since I've gallivanted about the city. I need to work on that. Get my gallivant on. But what did you do New Year's Eve?
Yeah, so went to a friend's house, some of the other sports writers in the city, and then we went down to Central Station, and
JB was there.
JB
Yeah.
was there. He was DJing. So, we chilled there from probably about midnight to 2 a.m. And then we headed home because, I'm from Detroit. You don't want to be out today on New Year's. I don't know if South Main and Memphis has the same issues, but you don't want to be out too late on New Year's in Detroit. So it was 2 a.m. I was like, all right, time to go home.
Okay. All right.
It was a good night though.
Yeah. Did you feel it the next day? Because I felt it. I went to a buddy's house and we hung out for New Year's Eve, and we ended up playing a board game, and looked up, and it was 2:30. It's like, oh no, baby, no, let's leave. I got to go. It's bedtime.
Yeah. Honestly, I felt pretty good when I woke up. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I thought
to be young, man. To be young.
That's all it is, man. It's the power of youth. Although I will say, with each passing year, I feel to watch this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm turning the clock back in 2020 or what. It's a pretty good omen for the year. I woke up, I was like, man, let's go. Let's get this going. I was like, all right. No, had like nothing at all. Like I woke up, drank some water, ate breakfast, and played video games.
Oh,
yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
All right.
Minus the eat breakfast part. I waited to get me some snacks for that Michigan game. Dear Lord.
Okay.
But I waited.
Watch the Michigan game.
I waited to get the snacks for the Michigan game, so I ate around noon. But I definitely woke up because having a morning show, my body is just like, oh, it's 5:15. Wake up.
Yeah.
And so I was up, but I had a Switch. I got the Nintendo Switch for Christmas.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mom's.
Okay.
She didn't give me a game for it, so
you were.
But I got the Switch and I bought Pokemon Sword.
Okay.
So I was up at 5:30 and just played that from like 5:30 till 11. Just gone nonstop on
That's a good morning.
Very good on my video games.
I have a Switch too. I've not gotten Pokemon yet. I've been doing this new thing where I don't get games when they first come out. I try to wait till a few months.
Right.
Pokemon never drops in price. So I don't know how long I'm going to wait for
You can't wait. You can't.
I figure.
By the time the next one comes out, this one will still be every bit of $60, man.
Yeah. So maybe it's a foolish endeavor for me to wait for this one. But, I'm going to see if I can get it for like 40, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe hit up a pawn shop and see if they got one for the low, man. I don't know how you gonna get that.
Yeah, it may not happen at all. That's just, but that's my thing. Like it's like you buy a game brand new, and then you don't like the game, you play your own stuff, and now you're out $60 for something you could have waited for. So, So I told myself I'm not doing that anymore. I'm buying games after 5-6 months, and I'm just gonna have a constant backlog of stuff to go back to. So hopefully, Pokemon can be worked into that rotation at some point.
Yo, if you want to talk Pokemon or any other video game, or if you want to talk, I don't know, sports, it is a sports show.
It is a sports show.
Hit us up, man. Zach, how can the people get in touch with us?
You can get in touch with us on our First Bank phone line at 901-360-8255. That's talk the last 4 digits. You can also get in touch with us directly through the text line. Our First Bank text line at 67129. You can text us in your thoughts. And if you're new to the program, and if you want to text us, if you're new to the text line, just text us at 56JOIN one time.
One time?
You must do it, by the way.
Yeah, got it.
You have to do it.
You have to.
And so that you can get in direct contact with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like CJ said, you can follow Omari San. Well, first of all, let me start off with I don't want to forget Peter. His name is on the show. That's important. That is.
He's not here.
He's not, but his name is on the show. You can follow Peter. You can tweet at him. Tell him how good of a job we're doing in his absence at Peter Edmiston on Twitter. You can follow CJ at Conradicalness.
I need you to follow me so I can follow more people. Get back on this bot behavior. Please follow me.
You follow Omari Sankofa on Twitter at Omari Sankofa. That's SANKOFA.
I'm glad you spelled it. I was going to spell it because people.
I like that he's saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Spell it again, Zach.
SANKOFA.
All right. That's lyrical right there.
I spell my name. I would imagine I spell my name more than double the national average. Yeah. Like, this just occurs to me. I spell my name a lot. You know, like, I just do it instinctually at this point. Like, I'm at Starbucks. What's your name? Omari. Omari.
Yeah.
Omar. Last name, like over the phone, sometimes the F could sound like an S. So they'll say, all right, so Sankofa? Like, no. Sankofa. I spell my name a lot. I'm glad you did it because I was going to do it, and that saved me, going into 2020, like.
Spelling your name.
Yeah.
With the same.
My name.
Well,
Yeah.
I figure our listeners are very intelligent people that they know how to spell Omari enough. That
the listeners on here are very intelligent, for sure.
Right. So
More intelligent than the average population. Like,
I don't know why you just don't not change your name, but going to Starbucks, why you just don't go, man, my name is Bob.
because then 8 people will look up. Yeah, so,
or you should ask them, like, can I get the cup, and I just write it myself. So
yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's company policy. I might try that though. That's a good idea.
I'm Big Worm. Just Big Worm. That's what they call me. Just put it down there. I'll know who you're talking about.
That's what it is. I'm going by Big O. I'm just
just Big O. There you go.
I'm Big O.
Big O. But they'll mess that up. It won't be Big O. It'll be Big O.
Yeah, it'll
Big
be
O?
like one word. B-I-G-O.
just
Big O?
confusion.
Big O.
Biju?
Yeah.
Bigu?
I'm like,
Bigu? Got a cup for Bigu?
yeah.
Big
What?
O. Big O.
What is going on? How can they follow you on Twitter, Zach?
You can follow me at Rack City Zach.
Are you sure? You seem to get choked up thinking about it.
You know,
Are you sure that's your handle?
I was like the confidence was coming out in saying it, but then like I had to like get something out of my throat for a second.
Okay.
But you can follow me at Rack City Zach on Twitter, and then you can follow the station Sports 56 WHBQ on all of our social media platforms.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. Wave to the streamers, Omari. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching. You guys follow us there if you want to see us do a sports talk show. Texas already texted in because they know Omari knows everything about the Grizzlies. We were going to put off this conversation till the third hour, but since people are texting in about it, good morning, gentlemen. Well, good morning. Can the Grizzlies make the playoffs?
Can the Grizzlies make the playoffs? Technically speaking, yes, they can. I know last time I checked, and I'll look it up again, they were only a game and a half out of the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, I believe, 13-21. So, obviously that's pretty rare, especially for the Western Conference, when it seems like more years than not, all the teams in the Western Conference are, winning more than 48 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously not the case this year. I'm looking at it now, and the Grizzlies are, it can't be worse than 2. Yeah, so they're 13-21, they're 14 games. Yeah, they're 2 games back.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing with the Western Conference. One, that 8th seed, you have the Spurs and the Blazers battling out for it. Both of those teams you would think have higher ceilings just because they have better players. That's no knock on, Jar or Jaren, but most guys are 20 years old. aren't quite at that level where they can, take your team to the next level quite yet. The Blazers, they may be a team that tries to make a swing at the trade deadline to get another guy in there, whether it's a Kevin Love or I don't know, a Blake Griffin, somebody who can get them that third guy that they need. So that's just something that we'll have to watch. With that said, the Grizzlies are 7-6 in their last 13. So they have played much better.
Winning month in the month of December?
They were 8-8 in December,
Okay.
I believe. So they have the capability, you would think, to keep that going, especially with a pretty home-heavy schedule in January. They have a 6-game homestand starting next week. You win 4 of those. Maybe you split this 3-game road trip coming up. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're talking about some real momentum there. So I don't want to say they're not going to make the playoffs because then people would be like, "Well, Mari covers the team and he was hating on the Grizzlies." No, I'm not hating on the Grizzlies. I'm just being, I'm trying to be realistic. But this may be a weird year in the West where a team 6, 7, 8 games under 500 actually gets in, like the Eastern Conference. And maybe that could be the Grizzlies depending on, what John Jaren do the rest of the season when happens at the trade deadline. There's a lot up in the air right now, but yes, they technically can make the playoffs. I'm not sure if they will.
More importantly, you don't change how you are building to either A, get into the playoffs, or B, avoid the playoffs. You let this happen naturally. This is one of those gimme years, gimme seasons for a professional franchise where the main goal is acquiring talent that you will be playing with and using for the distant future, and getting that talent developed. So that is what they've done. They got super lucky, so lucky to get that number 2 overall draft pick, and then they got real shrewd and were real smart in moving up to draft Brandon Clark as well. So you've got with Clark and Jaren and Ja, you've got those pieces, those super talented pieces that you are going to use for a long time, for the not too distant future, and hopefully for the distant future as well. This season is about developing that talent. And if in the course of developing that talent, you find a way to sneak into the playoffs, great. But that doesn't mean that your goals shift, your goals change to, hey, we could be a playoff team. Let's make a playoff push. No, the goal for this season should be, and I do believe is, and they're doing a really good job at this right now, just developing the talent and letting the chips fall where they fall.
And that's why I'm a little reluctant to begin talking about the season in the scope of, oh, well, they can make the playoffs. We're not even at the halfway point yet. And while it's a possibility, this season will be a success, given, everybody stays healthy and everything else, nothing major happens. Because of the reasons you mentioned. John Morant looks like the rookie of the year. Brandon Clark looks like a first-team all-rookie guy. In a relatively weak rookie class at that, the Grizzlies got 2 of the best 3 or 4 guys. And
if we're redrafting, those 2 are going probably 1-4, 1-5, something like that. Like they're going in the first 5 picks.
I mean, if not a little bit higher, you can make an argument for, Clark going 2 or 3. I think just given how efficient he's been. So it doesn't matter what the final record is, if they make the playoffs or not. This is a successful season because you knocked those 2 picks out of the park, and Jaren Jackson took a step forward as an offensive force. Jaren's on pace to set the franchise record in 3-point attempts and makes this season.
Yeah,
beating out Mike Miller. Like obviously, it's a different league now. Guys are shooting more, but still, there are measures of success for this season that I think aren't just, well, the Grizzlies made or missed the playoffs. Therefore, the season was defined by that. Now, if it's game 55 and there's still 2 games out, okay, now we're talking. Until we get to that point, I'm just a little reluctant to begin to have that talk right now.
And on the flip side of that, on the converse side, not the shoe, but the opposite side, you've got the players that you want, right? You've got the young core players that are going to be your building blocks and who you build around for the next, hopefully 9, 10, 12 years. So while having a top 6 pick is great, this draft class is not necessarily as strong either. 1 and 2, it's just icing on the cake. Like, this is it. Bow. You got your group. This is the group that you're running with. Anything else you add is just icing on the cake. So you shouldn't be out there trying to do anything but develop talent and let the wins come, even at the expense of draft positioning. And remember, the draft pick is going to be conveyed. It's top six protected.
Right. Yeah.
And the way things are shaping up now in the NBA, we saw last year with the draft lottery, just because you finished with one of the 5 worst records, 6 worst records, does not mean necessarily with the revamped odds that you are a lock for one of those picks. So you just play this thing out, man.
Yeah.
You've got Josh, you got Jaren, you got Brandon Clark. You've got quality young pieces and Melton stepping up. You've got a nice nucleus of players. Now it's about figuring out who and what style of player to put around them, not necessarily for this year, but for next year and the year after that and the year after that, where I think 3 years from now, they'll be like legit playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs and looking to win a couple of playoff series. So that is what you are doing. If you didn't convey last year and didn't get the number 2 pick,
It's
like it would be a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
But you did keep that pick. You did get Ja Morant. You've got a legit star, a legit player, a legit NBA stud. You're good. You're good. Everything that happens this year is a gimme year, is a gravy year. As long as you go about developing the talent the right way, and we continue to see steps in the maturation of all of those young pieces. We got to take a break. When we get back from the break, we'll keep talking about this some. Also want to get into what took place yesterday in the college football bowl seasons.
Oh,
There was the big bowls have been really enjoyable this year. All of them are always enjoyable, even though they can get real ugly at times. But the major bowls have had a tendency to get real bad also, with teams lacking motivation. But it looks like everybody went out there motivated and were ready to go out there and try and get W's. And it's been fun to watch. So we'll talk about that some on the other side as well. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Experience with CJ Hurt, Amari Sankofa filling in right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all 3. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
It's free furnace time. Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your air conditioning system this spring? Well, January is one of our slowest months of the year. Our warehouse is full and our crews are slow. So to spark business during the cold winter months, Conway Services is giving away Carrier 80% gas furnaces absolutely free with the purchase of a standard Carrier air conditioning system. That's right, purchase a Carrier air conditioning system in the month of January and get a gas furnace absolutely free. That's up to $2,000 in savings. And if that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, get your new system for as low as $114 per month or 12 months interest-free. Now, you could do that. And you know, with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Lowe's helps pros like you put more toward your bottom line with everyday savings throughout the store. Like 10% off when you buy 12 or more cans of Great Stuff foam spray. Purchase 64 or more sheets of OSB and you'll also save 10%. And you can be sure that whatever size the job, we'll have the quantities you need in stock and ready to go. Order ahead at lowesforpros.com and pick up in store. Our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site faster. Today and every day. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. U.S. only.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour of the experience is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Pretty at everything. $1 million cribs, having $1 million dreams. And when you get it all, just remember one thing. Remember one thing. That one man could change the world.
Welcome back in. The experience. CJ Hurt and Omari Sankofa got you today. Zach, who is this?
This is Big Sean.
Oh, okay.
One man can change the world.
All right.
Inspirational.
Oh, I didn't know Big Sean was out here inspiring the masses.
All the time. He's one of my favorites.
Oh, he is.
He was trying to get that Lifetime money.
Wait, what do you mean Lifetime money? Like Lifetime Network money?
Yeah, like that. Like that docu. Well, maybe not Lifetime. That's something you would play at like the beginning of a documentary.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if you're doing like a Muhammad Ali doc or something.
Okay, I got you.
Man can change the world. Yeah.
But there's some other hits that I like Big Sean that he wrote, but I can't play it on these airwaves. So
you can't find the clean version. Huh?
No, I tried my hardest. I was searching high and low, trying to find the clean version.
Yeah,
come on, man. The kids are still asleep, right?
No, they're probably up playing their video games now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are they in school yet? No, they go back.
No,
they go back Monday.
Monday?
I guess they go.
Do they go back Friday?
No, Well, in my head, I'm thinking they go back on like the week of MLK or maybe the week before MLK.
See, this is what happens when Peter isn't in the show. We got
nobody. We have no clue what's going on.
I don't have kids. I mean, I should know because my mom and my sister are teachers, but I don't keep up with their schedule. Like
Text
that.
them and see when the kids come back for. What school they? No, for real. What school they teach at? What? They're in
Southwind Elementary.
Okay, so they're in Memphis City.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the junior experiences listening at Southwind Elementary. Text moms and sister and see who can tell you. Like, I'm for real. Like, I really want to know when the kids go back. Welcome back in. Hey, wait, by the way, why are we playing Big Sean today? What's the theme today?
Detroit.
Oh, because Omari's from Detroit. From the D.
The D-Town, baby.
We got all
the
Detroit
D-Town.
hits.
Do y'all call it the D-Town?
We call it, I mean, we call it D-Town.
Okay.
But it's more of like a, like you'll be at a Pistons game and then you'll be like D-Town or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I
put a
would say in
little
passing, we
extra
call
on it.
The D. Or honestly, just like the city. Like when I go out with my friends, I'm going to be in the city this weekend.
Because there are no other cities in that area.
No, we're not talking about Ann Arbor. We're talking about.
Okay. Not talking about East Lansing either, huh?
Not talking about East Lansing.
Definitely not.
The city.
I love that. Welcome back in. Omari, for those of you who don't know, I think everybody knows. Judging from the text line, everybody knows because it's full of questions. Covers the Grizzlies for The Athletic. I promise you we are going to get into some college football talk. We also got John Gasaway joining us at 8. We'll talk some Tigers basketball as well, but let's finish running through some of these text questions from texters. You guys can text into 67129 on the First Bank text line, 67129 on the First Bank text line. If this is your first time texting, text join to 67129. Text 56 join, to 67129, and then you'll be locked in, and then you can text us. You can also give us a call, 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. If you got questions for Omari regarding the Grizzlies. What's going on, Zach?
So they do start school next week.
What
on
day?
Monday.
Monday. I thought it was Monday. I was right.
Oh, that's a quick turnaround.
That used to be the worst day of the year.
Oh.
You went home for 2 weeks, and then you wake up and you got to go to school.
College was a bit better because you could ease. College for me every day was a half day.
Yeah.
Like you're putting in 3-4 hours every day, and that's it. Yeah. So that's easier. But you're right. Like that day, and we did we took exams. I promise you, we're gonna get on these Grizzlies questions. We got a great question about the trade deadline and activity that I want to get Amari's thoughts on. But we took exams after winter break and in high school. So you get off of school for that break, and you still gotta study because you've got finals coming up the first week of the school year. It was terrible. My God.
I think my first 2 years of high school, we did it after. And it wasn't cool because, like your mom's making you study, like you playing those video games we bought, but you're not studying.
Yep.
You bought me a video game. Now you're guilt tripping me into studying on Christmas break. And in my last 2 years, they changed it to like before, which was significantly better. Like I cannot tell you how happy we were when we.
It was a thing of pride at my high school. Like the teachers and the headmasters were prideful of it. Like we're one of the only schools in the nation who take exams after the break. Like, yeah, you know why? Because that's stupid. That is stupid. That is dumb. No, and I'm not going to study. That's a break. No, I'm not opening anything.
Who is studying during break?
I don't know, man.
Any break to
you
be
got,
that.
You got me. You got 2 days, and so we would go in a semester, 1, 2, and then exams. So Monday, Tuesday, and then exams after that. You better holler at your boy on Monday or Tuesday, because that is when school starts back for me. I am off. Yeah, I don't do no work on an off day, man. I'm off in the 8th grade. I'm not doing that. No.
You figure it sucks for the teachers too. To you just had a long semester, and you can either do the exams before, and then I guess either way it's probably not great because you're either grading during your break, or you're doing prep leading up to the exam when you get back. So actually, now that I think about it, the teacher is probably lose. Like it's not really a ideal scenario there.
Man, don't punish me. Don't punish the student also, man, because your life is miserable. Let me have a little bit of joy, man.
At least the teacher getting paid.
I'm saying. Anyways, Texas in. What do you expect for activity around the trade deadline? I guess activity we can start with Grizzlies and branch out from that if you so choose.
For sure. I think. Well, for one. The Grizzlies absolutely believe that they're going to move Andre Iguodala, and they've been hunting for a trade for him pretty much since they acquired him last summer.
Not coming off that first round pick.
No, they haven't come out the first round pick. It's like first round pick / young player. I think if it was a young player good enough, then they would say, okay, this works. Mm-hmm. But the asking price remains the same. And, presumably that's why, it's still, 5-6 months later and he hasn't been moved because all the teams that could use his services, whether it's the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rockets, don't really have picks to give. They gave up all their picks this past summer, in their pursuits to win the championship. So they don't really have those types of assets. The Clippers have some young guys. But beyond that, like, they just aren't teams in a position to make that type of move.
What about the Mavericks?
So the Mavericks, so Mark Stein from the New York Times, I think, reported a couple of weeks ago that the Mavericks, they're just like, no, we're not doing that. And I think the Mavericks, they gave up draft picks for Kristaps, and they gave up draft picks to the Grizzlies. Actually, they gave up 2 second-rounders so that they could get DeLon Wright. So I don't know if their timeline has changed given how good Luka's been this season, and that they might be one of those 7-8 teams that could win this year. I don't know if they're quite.
Right now, they're 5th game, half game back, a game and a half back of the Rockets for that 4th seed, and 2 games back from the Clippers for that 3rd seed.
Yeah, so they're right in the mix with everybody else. But they do have more assets to give than some other teams, though. They do have more young guys. I think they have a first round pick way off, like 2025 or something that they can give up. So that might be a possibility. What I'm wondering is if a dark horse team like a Denver or a, like Milwaukee or Toronto, one of these other teams that are in that same tier that also have more assets to give, decides to do it. Like obviously Andre Iguodala is a former Denver Nugget. I don't think they ended on good terms, but, in the pursuit of winning, feelings change, things change. Dwight Howard is beloved by the Lakers right now.
Time heals all wounds, man. time and performance. They got you. Heals all wounds.
Yeah, time and winning heals all wounds. And they have two young guys that reportedly are up for grabs in Malik Beasley and Juancho Hernan Gomez. Like they're not playing at all. Malik Beasley was really good last year. This year he's having a down year, but he's a two guard. That could be your starting two for the Grizzlies. And he'll be a restricted free agent. So maybe if you're the Grizzlies, they want Iggy, and you decide, okay, like we're just not going to do the draft pick anymore. You get Malik Beasley, you get Juancho Hernan Gomez. You resign one or both this summer, and then you hope Malik Beasley just had a down year, and actually isn't an end of the bench guy.
Yeah.
Regardless, he's still shooting the ball pretty well this year, so you're getting that. So I'm wondering if they're gonna find a deal like that, because on paper to me that makes the most sense.
Just on the Beasley thing, when you are a young guy playing on a team with championship aspirations, they don't got time for those young guy mistakes.
No, they don't.
You can get buried on the bench by no fault of your own. It's just like experience. Like you lack the experience that we need in order to make this championship push. Your mistakes will cost us possessions, and every possession matters in a different way when you're chasing a championship. Young guy on a team like the Grizzlies who's rebuilding is allowed to play through those young guy mistakes. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been allowed to play through John Morant, play through young mistakes. And so a change of scenery for some of these young players who aren't necessarily being used on their teams who are chasing championships might actually be gold for this Grizzlies franchise.
And that's the thing, Malik Beasley, I'm assuming he started the season, in a slump. And, coaching staff just said, look, we can't let him, we can't allow him to play through this slump. We have guys that are ready to step up right now and play right now. We're right up on the Lakers' heels. We can't give this up waiting for Malik Beasley. Jokic was a little bit slow starting the season too, but that's your alpha dog. You can afford to let him play through it. A young guy like Malik Beasley, probably not. So, yeah, I mean, Malik Beasley obviously would be a good fit on a team like the Grizzlies, which are still, a year or two off from really, truly making some noise. And, if you're the Grizzlies, maybe you hope that because he's having a down year, if you were to acquire him, you could re-sign him for less.
Yeah.
Like maybe you save a few dollars off his annual deal, and it's a win-win for everybody except, I guess Malik Beasley's pockets.
Yeah.
But, but I do think that's the type of deal they're going to make. As for the rest of the roster, they have Solomon Hill, they have Jay Crowder. Those are guys who are on expiring deals, and you figure the Grizzlies may not want to lose them for nothing. Would they be moved? I don't know, but those are the types of guys that you figured contending teams will at least call about, see if they're available. Solomon Hill shot the ball really well. Jay Crowder obviously has been on a lot of winning teams. Any team would love to have him. So those are probably the three names. Those two, and then Iguodala that are probably most likely to be moved.
What are we hearing about Josh Jackson? Are you hearing anything at all?
The official line from the team has remained the same pretty much since day one. For one, he's with the Memphis Hustle, not because of his past performance, but because of his off the court issues. He had legal trouble when he was in Phoenix. He missed team meetings and stuff. Just stuff like that. And it's sort of a retroactive punishment. Like you need to show that you can, keep your nose out of trouble basically and commit to being a professional. That's the entire reason why he's still in his G League today. I can say my sense is that he is not necessarily seen as like the same type of young part of this core as like a Ja or like a Jaren or.
Well, clearly he's not because he's down in the G League.
Because he's down in the G League, and they also declined his team option for 2020-21, which to me, in my mind, and this isn't me saying that Josh Jackson's going to be in the trade block or anything, but to me, you decline his option, so he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this summer. He's still in the G League. This does not seem to be a guy that you want.
Yeah.
Necessarily. To me, it seems like the Grizzlies wanted DeAnthony Melton. And Phoenix was like, okay, if you want DeAnthony Melton, you have to take Josh Jackson. And the Grizzlies were just, All right, guess we have no choice. But gave us 2 second-round picks, too. And Phoenix was like, all right, whatever. Let's do it. If you don't want to lose Josh Jackson for nothing, you're putting him through the G League and all this stuff. Like, what's even the point? Like, why not just cut him when you first get him? Why are you putting him through all this? My guess is that, by him playing in the G League, putting up good numbers, and you didn't cut him, he's still in the system in some capacity, but you can lose him for nothing this summer. What do? You probably trade him and get something for him, right? Or else why even go through all this? Why keep him around? Why, do whatever? So my guess is that he might be a guy that could be moved too. If he isn't moved, I wouldn't be surprised, only because, there's been so much sort of secrecy surrounding like the long-term plan with him. But on paper, he seems to be a guy that is a prime candidate to get traded just because he's an unrestricted free agent this summer.
Okay. All right. We got to take a break. We come back. Guys can keep those text messages flowing in if you so choose. We're going to shift gears to the college football landscape and take a look at specifically the 2 big bowl games that popped off yesterday, the 2 New Year's 6 bowl games, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, both of them great in their own way and in their own right. We're going to talk about that on the other side, so don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to The Experience. Omari Sankofa's filling in with CJ Hurt right here on Sports 56, 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Heater trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning and heating specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their special winter price for a heater tune-up is just $59, and 24-hour service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043, 888-789-5043, 888-789-5043.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour of the Experience is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
So loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Plow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes
Welcome
gravity.
back.
Oh, there goes rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't.
A Detroit Feels Thursday because Amari Sankofa is joining me, and he is from the D. What was it like when this song came out and hit the streets in Detroit?
Man, so Detroit's kind of like Memphis in that, like culturally, the actual city is different from like the surrounding suburban area.
Okay.
Just because of the the histories and whatnot.
Yeah.
When that song came out, a lot of people they knew what 8 Mile was, but they weren't like. They hadn't like seen or been to 8 Mile.
Right.
8 Mile, like if you watch the movie, that 8 Mile is the dividing line, the north-south border from Detroit and the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Where Eminem grew up. So there was a lot of, I guess I was in grade school when that song came out. There was a lot of kids who had never really been in Detroit. Where, you would go to like some camp or something and you would mingle with the suburbanites, because I'm a city boy. And, a lot of people would say, have you been to 8 Mile? Have you seen 8 Mile? 8 Mile? Like, it was like, I'm like, yes, 8 Mile. It's a street. It's like, yes.
I imagine it would be a lot like this. I'm imagining here. I wasn't here for the heydays of 3-6 or 8-ball MJG, but when they are screaming, 8-ball MJG, not screaming, but rapping about 10 toes down in Orange Mound, and you kick it in South Haven or you're in Cordova. It's like, I've heard of Orange Mound. I've never actually been to Orange Mound. Where exactly is it?
Yeah, and you're like, well, it's not as cool as the sound as the song made it sound, but it's a place. You got families, you got churches, grocery stores.
Got the same stuff there that you got.
Yeah, it's Orange Mound. Yeah, it's like 8 Mile. Like my parents, we lived off 8 Mile actually, so I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, we got a Wendy's up the street.
Sometimes these songs make some of these neighborhoods seem mystical and magical in a way that they aren't. But the people are there, and it's made up of people. Never forget that, and they are the driving force behind the culture and the style of that area. And that area seems like never kicked it in Detroit. I visited for a day or two, never just like been in it. But I'd imagine that some of Detroit's culture sort of radiates and emanates from 8 Mile and some of those type places. Like where everything that you know Detroit for, everything that you kind of think of when you think Detroit is encompassed in that area.
For sure. So historically, like 8 Mile is basically it's like the north-south border from the suburbs and from the city, but I say it's similar to Memphis because it's also a racial line where obviously, south of 8 Mile is predominantly black and the north of 8 Mile is predominantly white. So, you cross that line and culturally it's a lot different, which 8 Mile touched on to an extent, but it was more to me about Eminem just kind of growing up in that environment that he was in.
Probably from his skin should have been in north.
Yeah.
North of 8 Mile, not in 8 Mile, south of 8 Mile.
Right.
Yeah.
So Eminem, I think Eminem is an interesting Detroit figure because a lot of people who are not, were from like Metro Detroit learned about Detroit through Eminem, who already had a very unique relationship with the city, because he was a white rapper who, grew up basically with, like a lot of black people, basically. Yeah. So he was like sort of like the liaison between the two cities. And because of that, when I was 9 or 10 years old, and I told people I grew up off 8 Mile, suddenly I was apparently Eminem's.
You were the coolest
nephew
dude
or
in the
something,
block.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was like, oh shoot, so you were in rap battles. I was like, I woke up, parents took me to school. Came home, went to Boy Scouts. It was a little different.
Yeah.
me and Eminem were on different wavelengths.
Over in college football, big time bowls were played yesterday. 2 New Year's Six bowls were played, and 2 really good matchups of good teams. When you look at Baylor taking on Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and Oregon and Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl, Georgia went out there and took care of business, up 19-0 in the first half against Baylor. Baylor came back to make it a little squirrely looking, but Georgia was in control for most of that game. And the thing that really interested me about that game, Omari, is, okay, we come out of halftime, Baylor gets the touchdown. The score is now 19-7. Georgia drives. They're in the red zone. It's 4th down, and they fake the field goal. And instead of kicking the field goal, they go for it on 4th down. They end up getting that 4th down conversion, and on the next play, running it in, making it, taking it from what would have been 22-7 to 26-7, and that just feels differently, and it is different. What do you get by kicking field goals? And we saw this in Ohio State when they played against Clemson, when they got up 16-0, purely off the strength of field goals. They scored 1 touchdown, got in the red zone, got inside of the 40, well in the 40. That's the big thing. Well inside of the 40, and they settle for all of the field goals. What good does that do you? That doesn't give you any sort of real advantage. Michigan had a similar situation against Alabama, where they're up 10-7, they're driving, the drive looks like it's going to stall out. It's 4th down. Why are you settling for a field goal? Why on 3rd down are you not calling plays to make it a shorter 4th down attempt? Because there is no difference in 10-7 and 13-7. It's still a 1 touchdown game. There's a big difference in 17-7, though. There's a big difference in Georgia's case in 22-7 and 26-7. 22-7, Baylor gets a touchdown. They are now within a score of getting this thing all tied up and making you pin pressure back on you. At 26-7, more has to happen. More has to happen, and you can feel that pressure on Baylor's sideline. I just love that decision to go for it there by Kirby Smart.
For sure. And, and this is always a big talking point, but it bothers me when you're on a big stage like that and you start to play conservatively. Every team in that type of bowl game can score, unless you have a historically great defense, which most teams do not. You should probably lean toward offense. You probably should. When you're late in the game, like, you don't want to be in a situation where you have to, complete a touchdown drive with 1:26 on the clock.
Yeah.
Because you kicked a field goal earlier when you were in control. And it seems like, like a lot of teams, when the going gets tough, and I do think that Michigan has reasons, and I like to dump on Michigan.
Yes, you do. I'm gonna allow it.
They have reasons, I think at times to not trust Shea Patterson because he could be a little turnover prone. With that said, you have to trust your quarterback in situations like that. You're playing Alabama. Alabama, even a weak Alabama team historically is better than most college teams, right? And there's also just an inherent disparity in talent between the SEC and the Big Ten. We see it every single year. A 10-2 Alabama team can beat any Big Ten team except maybe Ohio State. And you should go for it on 4th down. Like, you just should. If you don't get it, like, to me, you can sleep easier knowing you went for the kill rather than, you lost that game because you played it safe when you're up on a very good team.
Yeah.
Like, seems like that comes back to bite teams a lot. Like, just go for it. Like, you're playing Madden. Just take that Madden, I'm going to run up the score mentality. Because guess what? Bama would absolutely run up the score on you.
Yeah. And you're there. You're close enough. Yeah. And what Georgia did, Ohio State also, what Georgia did in that moment kind of showed, like, why you go for it. Yeah. We'll talk more college football later in the show. We got John Gasaway joining us of ESPN, joining us next to talk college basketball. We'll talk Tigers' expectations now that conference play is about to resume, or about to like really pick up, get hot and heavy. We'll talk some about what's going on up at Wichita State if they are a legitimate challenger to the Tigers for the AAC crown. We'll talk national news as well in college basketball. Ohio State falling to West Virginia, dropping in the polls. Gonzaga continuing to win, looking like that might be your elite team for the rest of the season. We got all of that and more coming up next on The Experience with CJ Hurt. Amari Sankofa filling in right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-509-2163. 800-509-2163. 800-509-2163. 800-509-2163.
Fox Tonight.
Sheriff Bradford suffered a serious heart attack. You're the new sheriff of Los Angeles County.
You gotta be kidding me.
I wish we were.
From the director of Suicide Squad.
You are not a soldier anymore. You are a general.
Meet the hero no one saw coming.
I'm no politician. These stars fell in my lap.
I think you're exactly what they need.
Stephen Dorff.
This department has lost its way. Enjoy those stars while you got them. I will.
Deputy series premiere. Tonight, 9/8 Central. After the 1-hour premiere of Last Man Standing on Fox.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
We could stay here forever. We deliver olives, Greek sandals, and everything you need to relive that perfect trip to the Mediterranean. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour of the Experience is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Everybody's gonna win this thing. You gotta lose your mind. Detroit, Rock City, head up. Everybody's
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Experience on this Detroit Field Thursday. You got CJ Hurt here, and you got Detroit's own Amari Sankofa on the other side of me, co-hosting. Peter Edmiston is still out. He'll be back Monday, though, so you'll get your Peter fix on Monday. It is not beautiful. It is drizzly out still, major time overcast, still about 47 degrees. Going to get up into the 50s, about 54 today at some point in time. So wear your umbrellas, bring your umbrellas, wear your raincoats, drive carefully out there on the road. Last night, Georgia knocked off Baylor. behind the arm and the strength of Jake Fromm. He threw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And George Pickens, the most outstanding player at the All-State Sugar Bowl, with his 12 receptions for 175 yards and a touchdown. The Bulldogs won 26-14. Oregon found a way to eke out a victory thanks in part to Justin Herbert's 3 touchdown runs and an untimely fumble late in that contest. Oregon knocked off Wisconsin 28-27. Minnesota held on to knock off Auburn 31-24. The Golden Gophers' first 11-win season since 1905. That's crazy. And Alabama beat Michigan 35-16 behind Mac Jones' 327 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy also went off for 204 yards and a touchdown as well. Joining us now to talk college basketball is ESPN's own John Gasaway. John, what's going on?
Happy New Year.
Happy
How
New
you
Year.
doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a lot. It's been, what, a week, 2 weeks since we had the pleasure of talking with you because of the way the holidays shook out?
Been a long time, and I'm glad to know that I can get my Peter fix on Monday.
Yes.
I think we all need our Peter fix. Yeah, I was counting the hours.
Follow John on Twitter at John Gasaway with 1 S. John, let's hop right on into this thing right here in the city. James Wiseman officially has signed with an agent. The Memphis Tigers continue to keep things rolling, now number 9 in the rankings in the AP poll. Just faced a scare against Tulane before they defensively stepped up and locked Tulane down and didn't let them score in the last 3.5, 4 minutes. And defensively, this Tigers team seems to be special. Offensively, the shots aren't always there, but when you look at them being in the top part of college basketball in points allowed and in the top 20s in turnovers forced per game, how has Penny Hardaway found a way to keep this team motivated and get them playing like this on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. They're young and elite defensively. We don't see that all the time from coaches not named John Calipari, and we need to make room on that same perceptual shelf now for Penny Hardaway, because that's exactly what's happening. This is a fantastic defense, and we're far enough into the season. We're far enough into the calendar year. We're far enough into the decade to say, it's not early anymore. We've seen enough basketball. Memphis is 12-1, and they're forcing the other team to miss, especially on the inside. Teams have been missing their threes as well. There will be games where that does not happen. There will be games where the Memphis opponent does hit some threes. We just haven't seen that so much this season. But overall, this is for the reasons you outlined, for the interior defense, forcing turnovers. This is a consistently excellent defense. And the only question I do have along the early vein of thought is who might give this team some competition in the American. I watched a bit of Wichita State looking kind of so-so against East Carolina before they finally pulled that out and won that. So there is a really good Memphis team in the American, and one thing I'm looking forward to finding out is who can give this team some competition in the American.
When I watch the Tigers play, John, it seems like they play down to their level of competition. And I know that they're beating the hell out of the Bradleys and out of the Alcorn States and out of the New Orleanses of the world. So to say they're playing down, I don't mean that they're nearing defeat in any of those instances, but the turnovers that they had, the fact that they only had 12 turnovers against Tulane, which was a little bit less than half of the turnovers that they had against a New Orleans and against an Alcorn State in both of those games. They ended up with 28, 25 turnovers in both of those games. That is concerning to me. Do you think that is just a function of them trying to play fast and trying to speed up other teams, or is there something that is actually concerning about that?
They do turn the ball over a lot, and that is costly because this is a team that makes its twos and is pretty good, average at threes. So you're missing out on some points, obviously, when you commit these turnovers at such a high rate, and they are playing at a high speed, as you say. We don't know if the turnovers would come down if the tempo slowed down. But I think the overall bargain is one that Hardaway is happy to make. The defense is good at this high tempo. The opponents are committing turnovers as well. So I don't expect that we'll see a more patient style from Memphis going forward to try and address turnovers. What I do think we'll see is other teams in the American, particularly when Memphis is on the road, bringing the Tigers into a slower pace, and not a really deliberate tempo, but just a normal pace, and not necessarily a running game up and down. That is something where Memphis will have to prove that they can win doing that as well. But you're right, turnovers have been a concern so far, and it hasn't had an effect on the bottom line. This is still a team that's 12-1 and did win its close games against the likes of Ole Miss and Tennessee. So you're going to lose some of those close games sometimes, but so far it's been working beautifully.
How's it going, John? Omari Sankofa here from The Athletic, hosting with CJ. The Tigers have still played pretty well, in the week since they lost James Wiseman. But do you reevaluate the ceiling of this team at all significantly, given that he's not here, or are you encouraged by them maintaining a similar pace that they've been on?
Yeah, it is a lower ceiling without Wiseman, but that's I don't mean to be flip or callous about it, but he's definitely not coming back now. So that's just, so it's kind of a moot point, right? It's like saying they'd have a better ceiling if they had LeBron or something. I mean, there's a lot of great players in the world that aren't playing for Memphis this year, and James Wiseman is one of them. And the listeners here, if they're mouthing these words along with me, I've been saying this for a few weeks. Without Wiseman, this is still and easily the best Memphis team we've seen in years. They got a really nice ranking, and they deserve it. They're got a really clean, good shot at winning the American. It won't be given to them, but they got a good chance to do that. And these are good things to get excited about. So if history had gone differently and you did have a 7-foot lottery pick in the paint, your ceiling would be higher than what we're seeing now. But Precious Achua and DJ Jeffries and Quinones and company, they're looking pretty good anyway.
Wichita State knocked off Washington, I do believe, last week. Houston has looked well also. Are those the only two teams in this conference? Could Cincinnati maybe sneak up and really contend for conference crown with Memphis?
Yeah, speaking of games, I caught parts of. I did see parts of Cincinnati winning at home against UConn, and that just doesn't look like a vintage Bearcat team that's going to compete for an American title, and their record doesn't look like it either. They're 8-5, and they did lose at home to Colgate, in addition to losing some games that you don't hold against them, like at Ohio State and at Xavier. So I'm with you. I think that Wichita State is who I'm looking at if I'm Memphis, and there are several teams right behind Wichita State on a level where Memphis is going to have to play well to win on the road against the likes of Cincinnati and Temple and perhaps even SMU, in addition to Houston. But we discussed this on the calls previously. This is a good year for Memphis to lose its on paper the player that was its top talent, because there's a little more blue sky than we're used to seeing in the American this year. Nothing along the lines of the Houston, especially, or Cincinnati teams that we saw last year. This is a good year to try and to win the title with a really young, good defensive team in Memphis.
Other teams in the area doing well, surprisingly so. I think Arkansas is 11-1. You look at their schedule, and they hadn't really played Murderers Row, with that loss to Western Kentucky being the only blemish on that. is the schedule the only thing that is keeping Razorbacks from being ranked, or is there something else going on with that team?
Yeah, the pollsters are just waiting for the Razorbacks to play somebody. The toughest team that they've played by far is Indiana, and they won in Bloomington. That's a good win, but that's it. That's the only team that you would look at on their schedule, with the possible exception of Georgia Tech, another win on the road, and that was in overtime. So they really are going to face their first quality opposition in conference play, and that starts right now. So I'm keeping an open mind with the Razorbacks. I know what Eric Musselman does. I saw him do it at Nevada, and he could be doing it already at Fayetteville. We just need to see some stiffer opposition to say, yeah, this team really is better than we thought, and there's no secret about guys like Jones and Isaiah Joe. Musselman walked into a pretty nice situation. He had some veterans, and they've played well against a soft schedule, and now they'll have the opportunity to show that they can play well against a quality SEC schedule.
With the SEC, it seems as wide open as I can think of it, with many teams being able to be like legit SEC contenders. Usually it's the Kentuckys, and maybe Florida gets up in there last year. The past couple of years, actually, Auburn has also thrown their hat into the mix. But when you look at Auburn, Kentucky, again, Florida, Arkansas may actually be turning the corner. They may be ahead of the bill as well. Is this conference as open as I think it is?
Yeah, it might not be when Kentucky loses to Evansville and Florida loses not once, not twice, but multiple times after being ranked so high to start the season. Then we say, wow, there's room at the top in this conference. But the Gators, they still baffle me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to sweep through the SEC and win this thing easily, but they might be pretty good. they might be there at the top. I mean, there's a reason that we thought that Florida was going to be good this year. Mike White does have a lot of talent there, and they might round into form yet. And even though Kentucky lost to Evansville, this is a team that just won at Louisville. That's saying something. I'm not sure too many coaches will be able to say that this year. And Calipari's got a short rotation. I mean, it's effectively 7 guys, and we're not used to seeing that. But those 7 guys are pretty good. And Nick Richards was looking kind of alert and active in that Louisville game, and you put that alongside guys like Maxine Higgins, and that could work out. And by the way, Auburn is still undefeated. So this is a pretty good league. Again, no, I can't point to one team and say this is a great team, this is going to be the favorite lookout. But there's a lot of talent at the top, and the team that staggers out of the SEC with the regular season title is going to have that'll be a good claim to make, because there's some strength here.
What do we have to do to get Ohio State and West Virginia to play more college basketball games against one another? Like we've talked about this. I feel like every week we've talked about the importance of regional out-of-conference rivalries. I feel like that game right there is another one another feather in the cap of why Memphis should be playing Tennessee and Ole Miss every year, why we should continue to have the Cincinnati Xavier game going on every year. Louisville and Kentucky, you brought up every single year we should be played. Why do we not get Ohio State, West Virginia every year? Those rivalries just bring out so much passion and energy in the fan base and really bring out the best in the players and the coaches. I need more of it, man.
Thank you for pushing that particular soapbox underneath me. And
I'm sorry.
I am happy to stand on this and go off at length, because when I'm czar of college basketball, we'll just make the schedule ourselves.
Okay.
We'll just make it a lot. We'll just make it a lot better. I mean, I still don't understand why we've got this sport where, with the partial exception of college football, it's the only sport in the world where teams make their own schedules. I mean, how did we get into this business? Why can't we make really good schedules here at NCAA HQ or conference, the office or something, and then send them out, and we can balance them in terms of how tough they are and how challenging they are for every team. But they'll be really sweet and really good, and they'll have all these regional matchups against quality teams. They'll blend true road games with neutral games. We won't have these dreary November stretches where the good teams stay at home and play teams that they beat easily. It'll just be sweet, and in the bargain, for coaches who go nuts saying, you're taking away our control, I would let teams pick their own slots in the NCAA tournament. We'd just say, okay, you're a 3 seed. You get to pick, where you play, and we don't get in the business of trying to balance how far you have to travel with your opponent. You can make that pick yourself, and it'll be like an NBA draft. It'll be great. So I got a lot of sweeping changes when I'm czar, and better non-conference schedules is one of them. I'm with you. Amen.
John, I don't know how we elect czars, but as soon as we do, you get my vote, man.
All right, thank you. It's a groundswell. I can feel it.
All right. I got you. I'm behind you 100%. Baylor is number 6 in the nation right now. I've watched a couple of those games. They just look like so much fun to watch. And watching them play, it looks like they're having fun on the court. Can this team keep Kansas and the rest of the Big 12 at bay and knock off and go ahead and cement themselves as the Big 12 champion regular season?
Yeah, they can definitely push Kansas. That win against Butler is going to continue to look better and better. They of course beat Villanova too. So I mean, this is a legit strong team, and they're about to be tested in a good Big 12. But for anybody who hasn't seen the Bears, Mark Vital, a guy who doesn't score, and he might be the best player on the team. He is a tough guy who plays defense and impacts the game at a listed height of 6'5", and is just a pleasure to watch. So for those old school types who say it doesn't always show up in the box score, I've always been in the opinion that the box score is pretty important, and scoring points does matter. But one I got to give you is Mark Vital, just a fantastic player and a pleasure to watch on a very good Baylor team.
Over in the Big Ten, you're talking to two people. I'm a fan of Michigan. Amari's a fan of Michigan State. Michigan State right now, 14 in the rankings, and looking like they've got things going in the right direction. I know that loss to Duke looms large here recently, but they got Illinois, and then Sunday they play Michigan. Who do you like in that game, and what are you going to be watching in that?
Are you talking the Michigan game?
Yeah, Michigan State.
Yeah, I like Michigan State. They'll be at home, and I'm sorry.
That hurt. That hurt me.
Well, the news with Michigan is good. I mean, they're better than we thought they were going to be in the preseason. They got things figured out more quickly than we thought they would. But winning in East Lansing that's a tall hill. So this is going to be a long race. And before the season, I would have said this is a Michigan State Maryland thing. And now we're in the season. And there's a team called Ohio State that lost to West Virginia notwithstanding. They look pretty good. The Wolverines are looking pretty good. This is a fun league, and you guys are smart to be fans of the teams that you are fans of, because those are two of the best, and they're going to get some good seeds in the NCAA tournament.
One of the matchups that I'm most interested in that game is Winston and Simpson. These guys both have been at their respective programs for I feel like a decade. They've been doing this back and forth thing for forever. What do you see in that matchup that you think leans in Michigan State's favor?
Yeah, I love both those guys. For anybody who can think all the way back to the Michigan-Oregon game, watching the matchup between Simpson and Peyton Pritchard, that was fantastic TV. I expect the same from Winston and Simpson, and those are just two of the best guards in the country, and I've spoken before and offered tributes to Simpson's hook shot.
That hook is beautiful, man. It's wonderful.
I love seeing them. I love seeing the baffled look on the larger defender who's been switched out on him. Seeing a hook shot sail over his outstretched arm. It's a viewing pleasure. And Winston's read the scouting report. He knows what to expect. This is a great matchup, individually and team-wise, between two coaches that don't have secrets from each other. I'm looking for a great game.
That is John Gasaway. Follow him on Twitter at John Gasaway, college hoops expert for ESPN, ESPN.com. John, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
John Gasaway, we got to get to a break. When we get back on the other side, we'll keep this college basketball talk rolling. So get on the phone lines, 360-8255, 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. Text in 67129, 67129 on the First Bank text lines. We're going to talk a little bit about Memphis, Georgia. We will get back into the college football talk. We'll talk some NFL also with Amari, big Lions fan, unfortunately. So he'll do all of that and more. Don't dare touch that dial. You're listening to The Experience right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Check out Dave Voloshin and Brett Norsworthy with Sports Time. Weekdays from 3 till 6 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Lowe's helps pros like you put more toward your bottom line with everyday savings throughout the store. Like 10% off when you buy 12 or more cans of Great Stuff foam spray. Purchase 64 or more sheets of OSB and you'll also save 10%. And you can be sure that whatever size the job, we'll have the quantities you need in stock and ready to go. Order ahead at lowesforpros.com and pick up in store. Our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site faster. Today and every day. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Lim and Brace.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurts. This hour of the Experience is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Guaranteed to blow your mind so high you won't come down. Get on, prepare yourself for the rubber band. Man, you'll never heard of.
Welcome back in. The Experience on this Detroit and dreary, drizzly-filled Thursday, January 2nd. Starting off the right way. Amari Sankovis filling in, co-hosting alongside of me. We were talking some during the break a couple breaks ago. Amari was telling me that there is no South Detroit apparently.
There is no South Detroit.
Okay. So that girl born in South Detroit, Midnight Train going anywhere?
I don't know.
Like she doesn't exist.
No, she doesn't exist. There's a east side of Detroit. There's a west side. And then there is a southwest Detroit.
Oh, okay.
And it's because the way Detroit's shaped is kind of weird. So you have this weird pocket of the city that, it's like if you have a square, you have this sort of weird side, like, it's like the Florida of Detroit, basically.
There's an odd peninsula-ish thing.
Yeah, that's southwest. And, but we do have downriver. So, like, all the suburbs that are south of Detroit, we call, like, the downriver area. Mm-hmm. So my assumption is that Journey was singing about a girl from downriver, and he just called it South Detroit because obviously most people would not know what downriver is. So that's my guess. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to come halfway from here because there is no South Detroit. You actually Detroit where South Detroit is, they're going to shrug and say, well, there's east and west and southwest. And we don't call Southwest South because it's Southwest. So, yeah, that's long been a mystery.
One of the toughest things for me to wrap my head around was that West Memphis was in Arkansas and not a part of Memphis. Yeah. I got here and there was a real bad situation that popped off in West Memphis. And so my girlfriend at the time who I was staying with comes home. She's like, what's going on? Talking, and it's like, yo, where's West Memphis, by the way? We definitely don't need to go to that Walmart. It is dangerous over there. Like, oh, it's in Arkansas. No. West Memphis, babe. Where's West Memphis? That is Arkansas. West Memphis. We had to pull out the laptop and pull it up. It was so hard for me to wrap my brain around that.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard, too, when I first moved down here. I think I didn't know until I got down here that West Memphis was in Arkansas. I thought it was, a Memphis suburb that was in Memphis because it's called West Memphis. Yeah. And I remember I drove over there and, you have to drive for a bit before you even get to the actual city. And then you get there and it it just wasn't like, I don't know why it's called West Memphis. It's just, it just feels different from the rest of the Memphis area. It's just very, I don't know, I'm no expert in like the Metro Memphis area.
Well, Zach went to school. I'm sure they taught him history or geography or something like that about the area.
Well, the thing is, like, Memphis ran out of space to have a West Memphis. So we like no disrespect to West Memphis, but we don't claim them.
No, we don't. That's not disrespectful. They're not a part of Memphis.
Right, they're not a part of Memphis, but yet they have the name because it is west of Memphis. Because it's over across the bridge on the other side of the river.
I wonder what the story is behind that. Like, okay, we've settled in Memphis. Here is Memphis. It is now a state, and we're going to cross that river and see what's on the other side and see what's next. What are we going to call this place? We're going to call it West Memphis. Great. Well, then when Tennessee becomes a state, we're not going to add West Memphis to it? Like, no. We're going to leave it alone. Where are we going to put it? In Arkansas. Like, okay.
Yeah, maybe Arkansas was like, well, y'all could have West Memphis for this price. It's a little too rich for us.
Yeah, it's a little too high.
Well, because I'm kind of basing this off of the Memphis, Egypt over in Africa, because they do have I wouldn't say they have West Memphis, but have the West Nile side of.
Well, now I'm learning some stuff.
Right. now we have gone international with it. Right. Is there a West Memphis in Egypt?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a West Memphis in one of those North African countries? I don't think so.
I don't believe there's a West
Memphis.
That has
nothing to do with this, I don't think.
Well, because the idea of it, because if Memphis had enough space, it would have been called West Memphis, Tennessee. But since it
But
ran
Memphis
out,
does have the space. Though.
Memphis
It's just a
was
river.
when it was founded, that we hadn't gotten that far west yet. I
Right.
don't think
So-
as a society.
so-
So when you get there, like that's if you're gonna call it West Memphis, I would think it would be in Tennessee. I don't know
Here's
how
the
this
thing.
stuff works.
Why are Olive Branch and South Haven considered Metro Memphis, but we get over to West Memphis? and it's
That's something else entirely.
Yeah, we're not claiming them. What's the difference?
Crossing the river changes things, man. Once you cross the river, it's something else entirely.
Apparently, it's like West Memphis. It's a different country. We're not going over there.
Somebody texted in. Texters have lit up the text line. Same as St. Louis, Missouri, and East St. Louis, Illinois. Another one I don't get. Isn't Kansas City that way?
Yeah.
Where there's a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Cause the thing about it, when settlers were settling in it, they were trying to settle close to the river because that's where the fertilization.
Yes, that's the fertile part. Yeah, I got that part. I was there for social studies class. I got that part.
So the idea was let's camp base closest to the river so that we'll have the water source.
Yes.
And the
fertileness to grow the crops.
To grow the food.
I got you.
So I guess that was the idea. Somebody wanted to base Memphis near the river because the same way.
Yeah.
with
I
the Nile.
get the founding of Memphis is fine. Why is West Memphis not in Tennessee? That is where I'm confused by. What happened?
That's
that is
something,
the confusing part.
That's something that the lines of the states have been drawing out because
we should annex it. Take it back. Mike is dialed in. Mike is going to hopefully bring me some clarification to this West Memphis thing. Mike, what's up?
Well, I was just going to say one other thing was East Chicago, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty common with it. Like, I was going to ask you two questions myself. I used to listen to you on Saturdays. You used to do those movie promos.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, could you bring that back? I thought those were pretty good.
Oh, Mike, I would love to. I might have to bring that back. Maybe in the new year, old me. Go back a couple of years and bring those back. Yeah, I'll think about it, Mike. What's your other question?
One other question is, why are you such a big Michigan fan?
Oh, Mike, thank you so much for the call, man. So I was born in North Carolina, and when I snapped to consciousness, I was over in Germany, military brat. And so my father was a fan of Michigan, and because there were no other teams I was aware of, because at the time, believe it or not, you on base, you had 2 channels, and that was it. And because there was no other team I was aware of, and Michigan was always on one of those channels because it was around the time of Desmond Howard's Heisman Trophy winning season. It was also around the time of the Fab Five running through there, beating Michigan State, doing all types of awesome things.
See, you would have to say that.
You're shaking your head like those aren't phenomenal things going on. And so because it was those things, I remember waking up at night and seeing my father at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning glued to the TV. And I'm a kid, 4 or 5 years old. I should be in bed, sleep, but I would kind of like peep around the corner. And I would hope my father knew I was there watching. I don't know, though, and kind of watch those games. And so then we moved back to the States, and Michigan is still good. And so we moved back, and we're in Tennessee now, and Michigan is still good. And so that kind of cemented that legacy. Charles Woodson's Heisman Trophy winning season. Robert Tractor Traylor, he's there as well doing things and getting NIT championships also. So, like, that is it. So 10-11. Bow. That's why. That is why I'm a Michigan fan. I don't have really a home to call like home. My hometown is everywhere. West Memphis, it's got to be something. I don't get it. I don't get why West Memphis is not in Tennessee. Somebody texted in on the text line. You can too. 67129. I'd be willing to bet it was all in the same territory before statehood. I would bet that would be the case also. And then something happened when we decided to make Tennessee a state and Arkansas a state. That was like, nope, if it is west of the Mississippi, we're going to give it to Arkansas. And instead of renaming West Memphis, they just stuck with the name. Already brought up, a couple of texts I brought up, St. Louis, Missouri, and East St. Louis, Illinois, which is another great one. East Parkway South. Something that also took me a while to wrap my head around. East Parkway South. Still don't get it all the way. I don't understand it. Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia, are those close to one another?
Yeah. So the city of Bristol is on the Tennessee-Virginia line.
And so part of it is in Tennessee and part of it is in Bristol.
Correct.
Good grief. We do a lot of weird things. Also, driving through East Tennessee is just weird because driving through East Tennessee, there's a city that is in Georgia, but it's like in Tennessee though. And so driving through, you get the welcome to Georgia, and then you leave that city and it's welcome to Tennessee, and then you keep rolling before you get to actual Georgia. It's odd. Geography, man, is weird around these parts.
But I love it though.
What was also weird was last night in the Rose Bowl, Wisconsin looked to be in complete and total control of that game. And then untimely fumble leads to an opportunity for Justin Herbert and the Oregon Ducks to get the touchdown to seal the game and knock everything off. He faked the handoff and just took off. Reminiscent of Trevor Lawrence's long touchdown run. Now, it's not near as long as what Trevor Lawrence's was, but that stiff arm on Jake Sanborn at the line was something nasty, and they kept running, and they ended up getting Justin kept running. They ended up getting the win, 28-27 in a really good Rose Bowl. Wisconsin now still looking for their first Rose Bowl win in nearly a half century, I do believe. Mari, did you get a chance to sit down and see that?
I caught part of it.
Yeah,
I caught part of it. Wisconsin had a good year, but I thought that they would be a little bit better than they ended up being.
Well, it started, I think we knew Wisconsin was going to be good. And then they beat the hell out of Michigan. It was okay. They're going to be really, really good. This is going to be special. Just the way that they play football, and it puts me in the mindset of Virginia, the way Virginia plays college basketball. That ugly, gritty, grind you down sort of style. When you get down or when you play teams with athletes who can stand up to you and not get worn down, you see that it makes it a bit more difficult for you to pull that off. Now, what Wisconsin did during the season was outstanding. Don't get me wrong. What's the running back's name? Oh, that's going
Jonathan Taylor.
Taylor running for 2,000 yards again is remarkable and phenomenal. But when you play in these types of things, and that's why bowl games are fun. Why we need more matchups across conferences, because you're playing one style in the Big Ten, and it's great for teams like Minnesota, who is good, just beat Auburn. Great against teams like Michigan. Works against your Michigan States and your Iowas of the world. But when you go out of conference and play a team with a completely different style, a team like Oregon, who might not be as big as you are along the lines of scrimmage, but big enough to not be bullied and bulldozed over. When you're playing those types of teams in other conferences, other major Power 5 conferences, it is tough for you to win those games, especially when you have the turnovers that Wisconsin had. The style of play, the contrast in styles is what keeps college football, I think, regional, and that's fine. But make no mistake about it, this is a national sport now. It is. This is not what it was in the early 90s, or hell, even the mid-90s. This is something different where, whereas early on in college football's existence in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early to mid-90s, this was very much just a regional thing where you could watch one game every weekend out of the region, but most of your games were coming in the region. And really, for some of that time in the 70s and 80s specifically, 2-3 games maybe on the TV, and that's it. That is it. So the bowls were a chance for you to see everybody play from other conferences. Well, now, hell, where everybody's got a game on TV, we can get these types of matchups during the season. And I don't know why we have to wait for bowl season for these to pop off, because these are fun. Watching Alabama and Michigan, Michigan fan, they lost, boo-hoo me. But it was still fun to watch as a fan of college football. Flipping back and forth between Alabama, Michigan, and Minnesota, Auburn. And knowing that Wisconsin, Oregon was coming up next, and then followed by Georgia, Baylor. That was fun. We can get those games during the regular season. And like we talked about with John Gassaway, he was talking about specifically college basketball, but college football also. No other sport lets you make your schedule. Now, no other sport has 100 and something teams. 31 teams in college football, 335. Zach, check on that for me, because I think I'm right. 335 in college basketball. So that would be hard for one entity to do, but it should probably be done to give us better games during the regular season in the flow of the season.
Probably. The other issue, too, especially with Wisconsin, is that even within the same conference, because the divisions, the quality of play can shift a lot, even within the same division. Like, historically, it seems like Wisconsin gets a little screwed when it comes to them being able to test themselves against good teams because they are in the Western Big Ten division. So most years in the Big Ten, you have Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, and some level are typically, 3 or 4 of your top 5 teams. And then Wisconsin is pretty much stranded over in the West. Maybe you have a Minnesota that was good this year that you play, or Iowa.
I was there.
Iowa.
That other team,
Nebraska's been there.
Other teams should be Nebraska.
But like Wisconsin, generally most of the talent is on the East side. So Wisconsin, you're winning 10 games every year. You play basically nobody. Then you get to the Big Ten championship, and now you're playing, Ohio State. Michigan
that plays
State,
a completely different style.
That's playing a different style. And that could be hard to account for because you and, your running back and your muscular front seven just beat up all the teams in your division. You didn't play anybody. So
there's 353 teams.
53, good God.
In
college basketball.
College basketball, and there's 130 in the FBS.
Okay. All right. So it would be hard, but it would be doable.
Yeah.
You could sit down and say, hey, we're going to come up with these schedules for you and help you out. At least come up with part of your out of conference schedule to make it better. Because, just looking at Wisconsin's schedule, and Oregon has schedule issues of their own, but Oregon played Auburn at the start of the year. Yeah. And that is fun. Getting those games at the start of the year where it's big-time program against big-time program is fun, be it Auburn and Oregon or Boise State and Georgia, LSU and Wisconsin. Those games are fun. But looking at Wisconsin's schedule, South Florida, Central Michigan, Kent State. That's your out-of-conference. And I just think one of those games, man, should be against a team from one of the other conferences. You can make it against, I'm not saying that it's got to be against the elite teams. I'm not saying Wisconsin, Oklahoma got to play, but it could be Oklahoma State. It could be Texas Tech. It could be Kentucky. It could be UCLA or USC or Arizona State. Like, we could get more of those games. I think it would help the overall health of the sport of college football because I don't think it is making near as much money as it could make.
Yeah, it would definitely help, but I think the issue too is that a lot of good teams don't want to play those games. Like we've seen Bama and Michigan State. We're going to enter an agreement, I think 3 or 4 years back.
Yeah,
and Bama backed out. Now, they probably would have agreed to it. But but they backed out. This was I think 2015 or around then because Michigan State was good, and Bama doesn't want to pick up a loss and have to make up for it through its remaining 9 or 10 games. So I think. There's like a certain range of team where it makes sense for, obviously a bad team's going to agree to it because they get paid to take a L basically. But, but I think when you have a season that's only 10 or 11 games long and one loss could be the difference between you qualifying for one of those 4 playoff spots or not, I think you could see the risk being too great, at times. And that's something the sports would have to overcome, because you can't add more games.
Right.
Do you increase the playoff to 8 so that now you have a little bit more leeway when you're getting in? They would have to come up with a different change along with it because I think as long as it's only a 14 playoff, teams like Bama are going to try to avoid those early season losses. They're going to play cupcakes and then work themselves up to playing a better opponent.
If everybody's doing it, then everybody has the chance for those losses.
For sure.
1. 2, thinking back, I was excited, like super excited. Michigan and Arkansas has signed an agreement. It is great. Michigan's going to come here. Arkansas is going to go up there. It'll be great. It'll be fun for a fan. This is my chance to see Michigan near me play. Also, for a fan of the sport, it is 2 really good programs, historically speaking, facing off against one another. I can't wait to watch this game. But Michigan decided to put Notre Dame back on the schedule, which I'm also all about. I'm all about those regional rivalries that are out of conference base. So in both sports, so Michigan, Notre Dame in football, Louisville, Kentucky in football. Like I'm here for Memphis, Ole Miss in football. Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm here for those things. But Michigan, once they added Notre Dame, decided they couldn't play 2 Power 5 schools in the same season. Let's get rid of the Arkansas game. And it was frustrating. I don't get why you can't do that. We got more to come on the other side, including your text, so stick around. We'll talk more college football as well right here on The Experience on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Join in underground at the Lounge at 3rd and Court for the best music Memphis has to offer. Brought to you by Sweetgrass, Sunrise, and 117 Prime. Upgrade your music experience with a true Memphis sound. Check out John Williams and the A440 Band playing classic Memphis Soul every Friday night. Every Sunday at 7 p.m., Joe Restivo presents Soul Jazz Trios featuring artists like Pat Fusco on organ or even the City Champs. This Saturday, January 4th, John Paul Keith is ringing in the new year. Show starts at 9. So kick back, enjoy dinner out at the diner, and then head downstairs to the Lounge at 3rd and Court.
And the coach calls timeout. Wait a minute, you can't call timeout when you have leaks and Mother Nature is roaring through your home. A technical foul from outer space may be in order. Don't know about that, but we can measure your roof from outer space at BrianElderRoofing.com. So if you need repairs or wondering if you think you may have a claim, call me before you call your insurance company. And we've got 0% interest for 60 months with approved credit. We won't try to sell you a new roof if all you need is a repair. My friend Chris Price, a longtime donor of the U of M. Call him, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com. God bless America, Penny and Mike, and go Tigers. And now back to the game.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elders Roofing Solutions.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Upon official review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour of the Experience is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back. I didn't know this person was from Detroit. Okay. Welcome back in to Detroit Music Thursday, because Omari Sankofa is joining us, and he is from the D.
From the D. You know, my only request, Zach, we got to get some Stevie in here before I head out.
Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder.
All right. You say Stevie around these parts, people assume it's Knicks.
Okay.
But Stevie Wonder, I'm down for Stevie. Everybody likes a good Stevie Wonder song.
I would hope.
Got a lot to text to get to on 67129 on the First Bank text line.
He's coming up in the next hour. Stay tuned.
Is he coming in?
No, not coming in.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
just saying,
Zach, don't play with your boy like that, man. Don't do me that
you
way.
just don't know, CJ.
All right. Text to get to. We were talking about West Memphis and how it came to be that West Memphis was or is in Arkansas and Memphis is in Tennessee. People are coming in with a lot more of these. We've got to fix this. It's not too late to fix this. I didn't realize it was a nationwide issue until like today. Texas says, explain Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texarkana, Texas. That naming is weird too. Yes, Texas and Arkansas combined, but there are two of them. One lies in Texas, one lies in Arkansas. That is odd to me. Another text in. Part of Tipton County is on the other side of the river in Arkansas. Huh. I did not know that about the great county of Tipton. Okay. I can fix it. Let's change these borders. Why are these the borders? Feel like we can change that.
Arkansas seems to have an issue with keeping it.
You got talking to the mic.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you moved it. It's all right.
There you go. Arkansas seems to have a recurring issue with his cities being split.
Yes.
I don't know who was managing Arkansas and who, allowed this to happen.
Yeah, they got to fix that.
Yeah.
They ought to fix that. Another text in. Happy New Year, CJ. Thank you, Texter. I'm out running errands with two relatives from Michigan. Big Michigan fans. Yes, go Blue. I told them about your show. Best wishes for 2020. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think will happen in the Tennessee Bowl game. Tennessee, more good bowls. This is the time of the year for me, a fan of good college football matchups, because you've got a lot of good ones. It starts in Birmingham, down at the Birmingham Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl, as I learn how to slow down and say this word. Boston College and Cincinnati will face off. That should be a good one. And then tonight at 6, you got Indiana and Tennessee facing off against one another up in down in Florida, in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Indiana has had a surprisingly good year. We talked some about how good a year it was for Minnesota this year. 11 wins for the first time since the early 1900s, since the early aughts. And I'm not talking about the 2000s, but the ones in 1900. Indiana has had a really good year also, sitting there at 8-4, something that I think we can count a handful of times that Indiana has won 8 games in the season, and they did it without their quarterback, Penix, who was running around making plays for them at the start of the year. He went down with an injury, and Peyton Ramsey stepped in for the Hoosiers, threw for 2,000-plus yards and 13 touchdowns. Like that is really impressive. And when you think about where Tennessee was also at the start of the year, where the expectations for Tennessee was 7-8 win season, maybe even sneak into the rankings, and then you look at what they did and how they started and how bad they look in those losses to Georgia State, I think, and BYU, and for them to find a way to get things turned around with a really tough SEC schedule and get 7 wins. Like, I'm excited about this game because these aren't things that we usually see in college football.
For sure. And Tennessee's season is a reason why, I don't think programs should ever fire their coaches midway through the season unless something major happens. Like if there's some sort of scandal or something, then yeah, probably. If it's just based on performance, I think you make those decisions during the offseason, especially in college. Like you have all these behind-the-scenes things that, can be tough to account for. You recruit this and that. To me, you fire a college coach and, there's this whole recruiting reset that you go through and all these things. It never made sense to me when, football programs fired their coaches midway through the season after a bad start. Give them time to figure it out. You hired them to begin with. If you don't see any improvement, then you make that judgment call. But yeah, I think Tennessee was one of the coolest stories of the season. It's cool to see them kind of rally and figure some stuff out. And, now you figure he'll probably be back next year and, maybe he'll be able to bring that momentum into 2020.
And that's what bowl games are, momentum for the following year. Right now, Tennessee, 3-point favorites. Tennessee's last 5 games. Win. Looks like all they do is win. no matter what. I just wanted to make that corny joke. Yes. Don't go anywhere. We got more to come on the other side. We'll talk some NBA, get back into that conversation on the other side with Omari Sankofa of The Athletic. You're listening to The Experience with CJ Hurt right here on Sports 56, 560 AM, 96.1 FM, 87.7 FM.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Fox Tonight.
Sheriff Bradford suffered a serious heart attack. You're the new sheriff of Los Angeles County. You gotta be kidding me.
I wish we were. From the director of Suicide Squad.
You are not a soldier anymore. You are a general.
Meet the hero no one saw coming.
I'm no politician. These stars fell in my lap.
I think you're exactly what they need.
Stephen Dorff.
This department has lost its way. Enjoy those stars while you got them. I will.
Deputy series premiere tonight, 9/8 Central, after the 1-hour premiere of Last Man Standing on Fox. You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Why'd you choose this one? This is the Supremes, by the way. We all know where the Supremes got started up in Detroit and worked down with the Motown. Motown is to Detroit what Stax is to Memphis and to the overall musical landscape. Why that Supreme song goes that? Are you going through something?
No, I
okay.
thought
There's a lot of those songs. There's a lot of great Supreme songs. Wonder how we settled on this one, though.
I don't know. I particularly like this song.
Oh, okay.
It's like there's no meaning behind it. Personally, I'm doing well.
Okay.
But, I just like this song.
That's good to hear.
Welcome back into the experience with CJ Hurt. Omari Sankofa filling in. And Zach is on the ones and twos. It's dreary out. It's rainy out. But we got your Detroit music because Omari is from the D, and so we're playing music from Detroit artists in honor of Omari joining us as our small way of saying thank you. It is still wet out. I can't tell from the window if it's still raining. Zach, is it still raining?
It's still wet.
It's still wet.
Yeah.
Zach can't tell if it's raining.
Yeah,
either.
I mean, I see something falling. Yeah, it's little droplets falling out of the sky.
So that means it's raining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Maybe there's a different classification for the little droplets. If the average raindrop is under this size, it doesn't classify as rain.
Oh, okay.
All right. Shower.
Messing around with Zach. That's what it means. Wet stuff is falling from the sky. To also quote Zach from a couple shows ago, it is raining out, so put on your rain boots, put on your rain jacket, grab your umbrella, drive safely, be careful out there. It's supposed to get up into the mid-50s, 54, 55 range at some point in time. Right now, it is 48, according to the Doppler doohickey. We got bowl games still going on. Today, you got Boston College and Cincinnati and the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. You also got Tennessee and Indiana facing off in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, which should be a fun game to watch. Last night, a bunch of fun, close, competitive, great bowl games to watch from some of the premier teams in college football this season. When you think about what Minnesota and Auburn were both able to do on the season, Minnesota getting their first 10-win season, God knows how long, and looking like if they had won the Big Ten, they would have had a chance to maybe creep into that fourth spot in the playoff. They went out there and beat an Auburn team 31-24, who had held the only team all season, I do believe, to have held Joe Burrow in control and in check. And that Auburn team knocked off Alabama as well in the last game of the season. Minnesota won that game 31-24 behind Tanner Morgan's arm, 278 yards and through the air, 2 touchdowns as well. Tyler Johnson went off in that game. The Minnesota wide receiver, 12 catches, 2 touchdowns, get this, 204 yards. He was on his Jerry Jeudy impression, who finished that Citrus Bowl, the Veer Bowl? What is this? The Citrus Bowl. Jerry Jeudy went off 6 receptions, 204 yards, and a touchdown. Every time he's catching the ball, it's for 40 yards plus in that game, running away from Michigan defenders, making them look silly as the Crimson Tide knock off the Wolverines 35-16. We got Grizzlies action tonight. They take on the Kings in Sacramento tonight. We'll talk some NBA right now before we get to the games that are going on tonight in general NBA conversation with Melo. Melo rubbing people the wrong way still, saying his jersey to be retired in Denver, and it should probably be retired in Madison Square Garden as well. Before we get on that talk and some more Grizzlies talk going forward with the rest of the season, feel like we should take time out to talk about David Stern and what his legacy was. For those of you who missed it, David Stern passed away, unfortunately, yesterday. Had a brain hemorrhage early in December and was holding on, and yesterday, unfortunately, he finally ended up passing away. David Stern was the long-time, why is the name escaping me? Commissioner. I was going to say league president. That's not what we call those. Long-term commissioner over in the NBA, did some really, really innovative things. And when you look around and you see sports leagues, professional sports leagues, take their product overseas, be it Premier League soccer coming over here to play some games, NFL sticking games in London, baseball playing games, Major League Baseball playing games in other countries. He was at the forefront of that. Amari, what will you most remember David Stern's tenure as NBA commissioner for?
I think just from a macro standpoint, for reasons you mentioned, just, the NBA is the NBA because of David Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was always ahead of the curve, whether it was marketing the game from an international standpoint. Obviously Yao Ming with the Houston Rockets was transformational, as far as the NBA entering China. A stars-driven league, obviously, with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, who, really when you think about when the NBA really became, the cultural force that is now, it started with those two, and then, of course, later on with Michael Jordan. I always remember, David Stern, he would stand on stage for the draft and just get booed. It used to be funny every single year, and then he would sit for a second and kind of take it in. That New York crowd.
Always would smile and say thank you.
Always smile and say thank you, because that New York crowd wanted some lottery luck, and it wasn't happening. And just such a huge figure in the game. Somebody who could be divisive at times. With his, like he certainly lived up to his last name. At times, but the NBA is what it is because of him. And his legacy will go down because of that.
The league revenue when he took over was $165 million. When he left, it was $5.5 billion. Like that is money right there.
Every NBA franchise seems like now is worth about $1 billion.
Yes, the Clippers went. The Clippers don't own their arena. They pay rent to the Lakers for Staples Center. They pay rent to use Staples Center, and the Clippers went for what, 2.5?
Something like that.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That is in large part to what he was able to do. Like you said, drumming up interest in the sport internationally by bringing Yao Ming over, by getting highlights of NBA games in other countries, in Argentina, where Manu Ginobili comes from, in Spain, where you have the Gasol brothers and Serge Ibaka to a certain extent. Like that is where they first fell in love with the game. In countries where the main sport is soccer, those South American, Central American, European nations, where the main sport was soccer, he looked out and said, you know what? We can get a piece of this pie. We can. We just have to be smart about it and market it the right way. So we can put Jordan highlights on there. We can put Bird and Magic highlights on the TVs in front of these kids and hopefully get them to be interested and excited in it. And once that excitement reached a certain point, he's like, okay, it's time to go over there. We can go over there and pit some games and give these people, do some camps, not even play games, just do some camps. And let's see how much interest we could get. And when all of those people started going to all of those camps, it is okay. They're legit interested in us. Let's do things like let's do the dream team. Let's have the dream team come through. We're done with sending amateurs over there. The dream team going to the Olympics in '92 wasn't about winning gold in the Olympics. It was about winning gold in the form of capitalism and money. Absolutely. Like, we can go over there and be on everybody's TV, and we can send these dudes over there. Your David Robinsons of the world, your John Stocktons. Damn shame that Isaiah Thomas wasn't on there because Bulls are petty. But we could send them all over there, and people say, oh my gosh, this is fun. I want to do what they do, and inspire a whole, not only generation of fans, but a generation of players as well, which gets you more fans.
Also, with David Stern, if it wasn't for him, the Grizzlies wouldn't be in Memphis, because he had a big hand of moving the Grizzlies from Vancouver to Memphis. Mm-hmm. And so, basically, without David Stern, we wouldn't have Ja Morant today.
Oh, that is a large leap there, but I like what you're doing, Zach. I see what you're doing.
I'm just saying.
I like it. I like it. And you think about, he was always thinking about ways to get interest, be it international or interest from little girls, young women. Mm-hmm. And at one point, he was like, okay, we've got to get them involved also. What's the best way to go about doing that? Let's create a legit avenue for them to play professional basketball over here. Let's get the WNBA going. And we've seen what that league has grown and morphed into, and how little girls are really wrapped up in it, and boys too are really worked up about some of their favorite WNBA players, and that gets more interest and more revenue for your main product, which is the NBA. So David Stern played a major role in getting them more money. Also, with the dress code thing, like, okay, David. He was all about the money, though. Zach, rule number one is to always do what?
Secure the bag.
He was like, oh, people are mad about these dudes dressed like this? Forget why they're mad about it. Let's ignore the double language that is being spoken. Ignore some of the ingrained racism in their critiques about these young men and what they're wearing. Forget about that. Damn that. Y'all want them in suits? damn it, they gonna be in suits, baby. Y'all keep paying that money though.
And the funny thing about the dress code is that, like players bristled when it first happened, obviously, because, it's 2005, 6. You're wearing you're wearing the super big white T-shirt. You got the chain. You got the size 38
with the Timbs on.
With the Timbs
Yep,
on.
the snapback backwards. I mean, like, boy.
The throwback. Yep.
What's funny is that, as fashion has changed over the years, NBA players have taken that and ran with it. Now you got, like the NBA is known, for its athletes being fashionable. You got Russell Westbrook wearing whatever he wants, James Harden. These guys come in and, they're following the dress code, but it's not a suit and a tie anymore. It's like all these things in that dress code actually kind of led to like this new movement of guys taking it and doing something really unique with it. So I wonder if, to a degree, the implications initially that the dress code provided or created will be lost, because now you see these guys wearing whatever that still fall within those rules, and it's become another, to me, defining characteristic of the NBA. Is that these guys are pretty fashion forward. I remember I saw Karl Anthony Towns at the 2016 draft. He's wearing a really short pants and those socks and those shoes, and that's the first time I've seen that. And now everybody's doing it. I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns started it. I'm just saying it's always been very fashion forward in that sense.
The fashion in the NBA is something different than most other leagues, and in part it is because of that dress code thing. I would argue Russell Westbrook showing up with all them damn holes in his shirt is not a dress code. Like, I've worked in professional settings, and if you came in with holes in your shirt, you were going to be sent home. That is not professional.
Looking real homey.
LeBron James with the suit top with the shorts, no. Like, you got to go home for that. Wear your pants, wear your slacks. No, you can't be doing that. Pick any Dwayne Wade outfit down in Miami. Like, no, that is not professional. That is not business attire. But what it is, though, to your point, is it's fashion now.
Yeah.
It is, and it is, whereas the pre David Stern enforcing the dress code, it was fashion that was of one place, of black community, black neighborhoods. That is what we were wearing at the time: the baggy jeans, the baggy T-shirts, the baggy jerseys with the hat and the Timbs and the chains. Like, that is what we were wearing at the time. And if we focused our fashion, NBA players focus their fashion on that community. Now, the NBA is fashionable, where it is coming from all over the world. You got your different designers involved. Mike Conley was a great article on ESPN, Everything in Me Wants to Say, like 2-3 years ago, that talked about Mike Conley's fashion. Now he has a stylist now. Now people have stylists to get them ready for games.
They're wearing stuff the boys back home can't.
No, you can't rock this. Allen Iverson was wearing things that were worn in his neighborhood. Now Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and those guys are wearing things you can't just get anywhere else. It's fashion now, and I think that has added to something that David Stern saw and realized, which is because there aren't as many players, and because you can see these dudes' faces, this league is about stars. And what the fashion thing does is it makes your stars more star-esque. It allows them to show some of that personality before the game. It's like, oh my gosh, did you see that? One of the things I think about and one of the things I talk about whenever we get on Dwayne Wade's legacy and what he's done is that damn fly-ass feather jacket. Not the feather, the flower jacket.
Yeah.
The white one with the flowers at the top. I was like, ooh, that is sharp. Like, that's one of the things we talk about now when it comes to these players. And it is great. It is fun. And for David Stern to realize, hey, we can make money off of, not off the names on the front of the jerseys, but we can make names off the names on the back of the jerseys also. We can get people to be Lakers fans just because Magic Johnson is a Laker and is really good at basketball. We can get people to fall in love with our sport. We can get people in this country and overseas and abroad to fall in love with our sport just because they saw Larry Bird go out there and do something phenomenal. Like, that realization has led to the entire way the league views itself and the things that the league does. It is a star-driven league because the stars bring in the money. And that goes back to David Stern.
Yeah, and especially the global aspect of that. You look at the top guys in the league under the age of 25. Giannis the Greek Freak. Luka Doncic is Slovenian. Joel Embiid, Cameroonian. So we have these guys. That's just expanded. Basically, we have guys from all these different parts of the world. Who are playing this game, putting their own spin on it. And and the NBA's leaning into that too. You had the rookie sophomore game. They changed it to the the international guys versus the American guys at one point. And it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see that the game has become what it currently is today, where you have so many guys representing so many different countries who are playing at an elite level.
And not to mention, they're starting the basketball league in Africa.
They are
NBA Africa. Yeah,
NBA Africa. So and this was something. I know for sure. That was something before he got out. Before he stepped down as commissioner, was getting a basketball league going in Africa, because every year they used to send representatives, basketball either legends, coaches, current players, send them over to Africa to kind of drum up interest.
And they still do. Think about where Pascal Siakam comes from over there. Brought up Joel Embiid. Serge Ibaka was playing down in the Congo, and for the Spanish national team, send him over there. And we're talking about all these new international players, and I'm not sure if we get them if that first batch of international players weren't inspired by those highlights that they saw in the early 80s, early 90s, and coupled that with the dream team being what it was and comprised of all of the NBA stars. You got to go out there and convince these dudes and just show them and talk to them like, hey, Scotty, I know you just got done playing, but man, you can go to the Olympics, get you a gold medal. It'll be fun. It's kind of yeah, I'm on board with that. Michael, come on, man. You can, Charles, we're going to get all of your friends together and we're going to play basketball. It'll be great. It'll be fun. And that team there in those moments with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan, and Charles Barkley, and Scottie Pippen, and again, damn shame Isaiah Thomas wasn't there, but haters gonna hate. That team, what they did to inspire your Manu Ginobili's of the world, your Pau Gasol's of the world, your Dirk Nowinski's of the world, what they did to inspire them and show them oh, you know what? There really might not be a place for a 6'6" soccer player. I'm 6'6" and I'm kind of not as fast or as quick as some of these soccer dudes. So I might not play professionally. I love soccer though. Well, wait, there's a sport that's perfect for me at 6'6", 6'7" to play, and it's basketball. Well, show me some highlights. Why in the hell would I? Oh, they can do that. Oh, I can do that. That's fun, and to inspire that generation leads us to get this new generation of international basketball players that allow for you to get more international money.
And basketball also has an institutional advantage over other sports, and that the thing about soccer is that you need a ball and some sort of net stand in, right? Basketball, okay, you got a rim and a ball, you're good to go. Hockey's expensive to get into, and you also need ice. Football, even though obviously is also really popular in communities here in America that don't have money, it's expensive to get into as well. So every sports have challenges that I think could be tough to overcome. As far as just getting young people to play it, and basketball is not limited in that same way. So you look at the way basketball is positioned over the next 20, 30 years. You probably like basketball's odds to become, I don't know if it probably won't overtake soccer, but to grow significantly from here on out because of that.
Yeah, and you think about all of the things we've said on top of the social issues that Stern handled. The fact that as far as leagues go, there are more women and more black people coaching in the NBA than any other league. You think about, which I was not cognizant of at the time all the way, but I was aware when HIV/AIDS was really big. And Magic Johnson comes out with it, and the work David Stern did to destigmatize it in the league. And you had players big time players, star-driven league. You had big time players. I do believe Karl Malone was I'm not playing. I'm not going to play against Magic because I don't want to get it. And Stern had to work hard and diligently to destigmatize that notion and to destigmatized HIV/AIDS in general, and he did that by making Magic, not making, but like pleading with Magic, working to convince Magic to go ahead and Pat Riley to let's bring him back. This could be a great teachable moment and a great story for our league. So David Stern, for those of you who missed it, passed away 77. 77 was battling for about a month and ended up losing his battle, had a brain hemorrhage and ended up passing away. So those are the things we'll remember him for, and remember his legacy as an NBA commissioner and a sports commissioner. For text it in. Dennis Rodman was a nightmare to David Stern. Yeah, you got those in your league. Like, if you're a commissioner of a league, you've got at least 15 dudes. You're like, oh, this guy again. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I can imagine why Dennis Rodman would be a nightmare. Ron Artest, another nightmare. Malice in the Palace. And he was the commissioner during all of that and had to come down and solve that in a way that was good and good with the fans and make sure that the fans were straight, because the whole thing is you don't ever want to fumble the bag, drop the bag. You got to make sure. And Stern understood this better than anybody else. That's why he was in 2011 when he walked into the locker rooms at the All-Star game ahead of the players' strike, while he was able to walk in there and say, hey, fall in line. I know where the bodies are buried. And I know that because I buried the bodies. Like, fall in line or I'll shut this down. Like, Stern could be cantankerous, especially later in his tenure. But the things he did in the early and mid parts of it, you look at it now, $174 million. The whole league was valued as now $5.5 billion, teams being sold for billions of dollars. Like that is all in part thanks to the foundation that David Stern laid out. We got to take a break. When we do, we got some phone calls to get to, more of your text messages to get to, as well as some NFL talk. What the hell are the Cowboys doing? Have they had their meeting yet, Zach, with Jason Garrett again?
I think they canceled it.
Okay, so does that mean what the hell? What is going on?
I don't know what that. I don't know what it means. All I know is that I just need it to be over and done with so we can figure out what direction we're going in.
We're going to talk about that and more on the other side. You're listening to The Experience. Amari Sankova filling in for Peter right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
Fox Tonight.
Sheriff Bradford suffered a serious heart attack. You're the new sheriff of Los Angeles County. You gotta be kidding me.
I wish we were.
From the director of Suicide Squad.
You are not a soldier anymore. You are a general.
Meet the hero no one saw coming.
I'm no politician. These stars fell in my lap.
I think you're exactly what they need.
Stephen Dorff.
This department has lost its way.
Enjoy those stars while you got them.
I will.
Deputy series premiere tonight, 9/8 Central, after the 1-hour premiere of Last Man Standing on Fox.
In this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bar Graphs, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Nobody
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. Again, that's 800-561-6198.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back. Isn't she lovely? We were talking David Stern and his life and legacy as NBA commissioner. We got some calls on David Stern. Bill has dialed in on the First Bank phone line, that's the text line, 360-8255 is the First Bank phone lines. Bill, what's up? You're on with CJ and Amari.
What's up, CJ?
What up, Bill?
Man, we still miss you at one, baby. But,
just wake up a little earlier, man.
Johnny ain't the same with that. But, hey, I'm a little bit older than you, so I remember the NBA before David Stern. I remember back in before the merger. Actually, they were talking about the NBA folding, and the NBA was in bad shape. It was in horrible shape. I remember the NBA championship used to be on tape delay. You had to watch the championship at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night after the news. I remember watching the Celtics and the Houston Rockets. Larry Bird and them was on tape delay. You didn't get to see the games live. You got games maybe once or twice a week, Sunday afternoon, and sometimes you get one on Friday night or something. But, other than that, there was never no NBA. You never got to see any team. You didn't know any of the players, really, other than a few of the cities. And David Stern came in and literally just made everybody billionaires. And he had a vision, and he took it. And, I think he loved Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, you either loved him or hated him, but everybody watched. They wanted to see Dennis Rodman play.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Jordan, he was able to use these guys to say, we got to make our stars where people can see them. And he had that vision, and it was just it was amazing if you saw the NBA before to where it ended up. And it's just basically amazing. Just I remember an article back in '76 I think it was 76 in Sports Illustrated, where they showed the Golden State Warriors. And, there was a big racial component. They talked about how they thought it was the racial thing was why nobody liked to watch the NBA. And they showed a stand of I think they were in Golden State at the time, maybe San Francisco, I can't remember. But there was nobody in the crowd. And they showed the bench, and they tried to say something. But David Stern broke those lines and made it show that it would work. And it's just amazing what he did with that league. And all those guys, he pushed Michael Jordan to be, Bird and Magic came at the right time, but then Michael took it to that next step, and he took Michael to allowed him to be that superstar, and then put him on a stage where everybody could see him, realize how great and incredible he was, and it was just amazing if you were experiencing the NBA pre David Stern and after David Stern, how he saved that league and turned it into it's an enjoyment. It's entertainment enjoyment. He's made our lives better in the United States, for sure, and around the world.
All right, Bill, thanks for the call, man. Take
Appreciate
care.
Guys.
We're going to transition now from Stern to some of these coaching searches. Cowboys, according to Zach, they're supposed to have another meeting with Jason Garrett. What we having all these damn meetings about? This will be the third one since the debacle that was the Cowboys season ended. Zach is saying, who did you see it from, Zach, that said that the meeting was canceled?
Well, I think I can't remember who read it from, but they said that I think the meeting was canceled. It was supposed to happen today, or
it was supposed to happen today.
But I think they said it was canceled. If I'm
okay, I haven't seen it yet, but I trust you, Zach. Zach says it's canceled, so if it's not canceled, be mad at Zach. Thomas is dialed in. Wants to talk coaching search. What's going on, Thomas?
What's going on, CJ?
I can't call him, man.
Man, I didn't get to call you guys early on in the week, but I went to the Cotton Bowl and I thoroughly enjoyed that trip.
Good.
My daughter, you could see the glow in her eyes. But that stadium was something else. But
yeah.
my question this morning, either one of you can if you can answer this. Do you have any you guys have any idea who some of the assistant coaches that Silverfield is looking at?
Thanks for that call, Thomas. We'll
All
answer that. I don't know. I know that when we left on, when did we leave? Tuesday. When we left on break on Tuesday, Evan Barnes had tweeted out that some of the staff had been filled. I haven't seen anything since then. I know defensive coordinator Zach, help me out.
Adam Fuller.
Adam Fuller is staying. Not defensive, special teams coordinator.
Yeah, Pete Limbo. He's staying.
Limbo is staying. They've got a couple of guys in as directors of like high school recruits. I can't think of anybody.
Reggie
else.
Howard he will be the director of high school relations, and then I forgot the other guy's name, Coach Gillian. He'll be the new tight ends coach for the Tigers. And I think Jonah Jordan of the Daily Memphis just tweeted out that said that Cooper Williams will head to Tallahassee as well to be with Mike Norvell. He was here on staff with Norvell as well.
Okay, so that is what we know as of right now. The staff should be, you would think, would be filled out. I would think before the late recruiting period is over and done with, so they can go out there and get some more kids on committed to the program. We had Clayton Collier on with us Tuesday and was singing the praises of Silverfield and the recruits that he was able to get to stay committed, the 13, 14 young men who committed, and saying that there's still more out there. So that staff has got to come together so they can really get out there and get after it on the recruiting trail. We talked to David Stern, who's no longer with us. The NBA, though, still here and better off because of his service and his tenure. You've got Grizzlies Kings going on tonight. It's a late game because it is on the West Coast. That 9 p.m. tip. Ooh, Amari, it's gonna be tough for your boy. You know what time? You know how early it is to get up in the morning. You know.
I'm about to sneak a nap in. And it's tough too because I gotta, I'm leaving here. I got a haircut at 2. I get my haircut right across the street, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
from here.
From here.
Okay.
So I'm not going home. Like I live in Midtown, so I'm gonna have to go somewhere. I got my laptop, sit down for a couple hours, and then get a haircut, and then go home. Maybe I'll be able to sneak a nap in.
Yeah.
Before I wake up for this 9 p.m. game. So, we'll see.
John Morant, De'Aaron Fox. We've seen this matchup before. It is a really fun thing to watch. What are you expecting to see tonight, Amari? What do you want to see tonight from the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think for them being a young team, you have to take care of business on the road. Like this is a Kings team that is probably within the same tier as the Grizzlies, from like a talent standpoint. And then they have a road back-to-back coming up this weekend. So you don't want to leave a game like this on the table. They've had a 3-day layoff, so, I don't know if, guys partying on New Year's Eve. No, this is a good team. They're focused. They're good. But you need to come out strong tonight, basically, and take care of this one because the back half of this road trip definitely gets a little bit tougher.
The Nuggets, not the Nuggets. Why am I'm thinking about the top part of the NBA West. The Kings are on a really impressive losing streak as well. Hadn't won a game since beating the Warriors on the 15th. So that is a half a month of L's that they've been taking. You'd hate to be the team that they break that streak on.
Yeah.
Also, I'm interested to see like how Ja handles another guard because I think De'Aaron Fox is every bit as athletic as Ja Morant, and I love seeing those matchups, and I want to see how he handles a guard in the same tier as him athletically.
For sure. Like, I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is the same type of leaper, but he might be the fastest guy in the NBA. Like, when he gets going in transition, he's a complete blur. And I actually think De'Aaron Fox was a guy that people compared John Morant to, you know, when John was at Murray State. Now that I've seen, 30 games with John, I don't know who I would compare him to. He's a mix of a lot of different guys. But but I do think De'Aaron Fox is a fair comparison because John's fast too. You see his change of direction on certain drives, and a lot of guys just can't stay in front of him. That he's used that to great effect. So, and I know that Ja also wakes up for these games against the young good point guards in the NBA too. So I'm sure Ja, he's looking at De'Aaron Fox like I got to get you tonight.
Yeah.
And I think like when the Kings played here in Memphis not too long ago, like you could see that Ja was having a little bit of trouble of not only guarding Fox, but also just trying to get into some half court sets with De'Aaron Fox, putting a little pressure on him on the ball. So this could be like another I wouldn't say redemption here for Ja, but it's like another go around for him to say, okay, like I learned my lesson when it came to guarding you and playing against you. Now let me show you what I've learned from here on the road.
And this team is full of those types of moments and those types of players because they're so young. It is a lot of times the games that you're seeing is the first time against NBA quality competition in a live action game that they're seeing a lot of stuff thrown at them. So they handle it poorly at first, but eventually get it figured out and work through it. I'm thinking of in the preseason what Charlotte was able to do to Ja. And how against Charlotte in the regular season, Ja went off and really took over that fourth quarter and hit that beautiful layup. But when other teams are playing similarly, what Charlotte was doing in the preseason was just running and doubling and trying to get the ball out of his hands, trying to speed Ja Morant up. The fact that after seeing that, he learned from it and he's not sped up. Ja Morant is fast. Ja Morant plays fast, but it's because he wants to play fast, not because the other teams speed him up and make him change his pace of play. You think about Jaren Jackson Jr. and his growth. I think Jaren has grown leaps and bounds over where he was at the start of the season to now, and the player on the team that has shown the most growth, because you look at it and you see him now more comfortable in the offense, and this is something that I've been noticing, Omari. I want to get your thoughts on it. When they use him on the pick and roll, he still doesn't know exactly where to roll on the cuts when he's rolling to the basket. So he ends up directly behind Ja Morant, who's dribbling the ball, looking for somebody to pass the ball to.
Yeah, Ja and Jaren, they still have to establish that pick and roll chemistry. Like, you look at the numbers. Ja's okay in the pick and roll, but I think Ja is more comfortable in transition or just on those sort of like free-willing opportunities, which, I think part of it is that Ja was such a huge focal point at Murray State last year that there are ways that he can use Jaren that I think they just have to figure out. Jaren was a really good post player last year. He hasn't been as good in the post this year, which I think is just the offense being more oriented toward him shooting rather than being that kind of on the block.
Post up, giving the ball on the block,
And he can do both. And I think, and what's funny is that Jaren, he's shooting significantly more threes than last year. It's not even close, and he's hitting them at a higher clip. But there's another still level he can reach as a post scorer too. When he puts both together, we're talking about one of the best scorers in the NBA. Like, I think him hitting threes where he's hitting it now increases his ceiling dramatically because most bigs cannot shoot threes the way he's doing it currently. You have Karl-Anthony Towns, like maybe a guy like a Kristaps. You have like the Brick Lopez's and whatnot, but it's just a completely different tier of shooter that he is emerging as. And I think once John and Jaren get that pick and roll chemistry down, it should help both of them really. Another thing too is that I think Jaren could be better as a screener. Like you see when Jonas Valanciunas screens, he
gets the body.
He absorbs the entire defender, right? And with Jaren screens, it's like he is looking more toward the next action than like making sure he's just setting that direct screen. I think if he did that better and it opened up those couple extra milliseconds for Ja to get to a spot or whatever else, like that would just help the offense flow a little bit more. So, it's early in the season. They're both 20. It'll be a work in progress. But I do think once they get that chemistry down, like it should unlock some stuff for both of them. Because Jaren's just a way more versatile offensive guy than Valanciunas when it comes down to it.
It's way more versatile. You brought it up than pretty much everybody at his position in the NBA. I would think, with his ability to shoot, like you said, and then to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim with his left hand and with his right hand, and to spin back right with his left hand. His ability to grab the ball on the defensive side, get the rebound, and bring it up the court and be the one to initiate the offense or even attack the rim. His ability to cut is really, really good on top of that. And you talked some about him in the post last year and how effective he was down there. He is good at a bunch of things. And I was talking earlier in the week with some people, and it is okay. Well, what is he great at? He's got to be great at something. And I think this has been Peter's whole stance the whole time. Let whatever he's going to be great at come naturally. Don't try and force him to be great at anything. Whatever he ends up getting comfortable at is what he'll be great at. And he may just be a player who is very good at a bunch of different things, which then in turn will make him great because he's so dynamic offensively.
Well, sure. Well, in December, for the season, he's shooting 40% from three, but he started off a little bit slow from my arc. So he was so good in December. I forget what his percentage was from three, maybe like 43%. He took nearly 8 a game.
Yeah.
If you could take 8 threes a game and hit them at a 40% clip, that is elite.
Yeah.
Especially as a big. If he is that good as a shooter, anything else is gravy because he still has high upside on the defensive end as well. If Jaren ends up being a super Brook Lopez, and I know people hear Brook Lopez like, what? Like Jaren's better. Brook Lopez is an insanely useful guy in that he can protect the rim and hit threes at a high rate. If Jaren Jackson is a better Brook Lopez, we're talking about one of the best 3 or 4 bigs in the entire NBA. So if he could post up from there, like now we're just talking about stuff that's like gravy. The only thing with Jaren is that you just want him to be a better rebounder. He may not be who he is. If he does everything else well, then you can live with that. But but he had a double this past game. I think he grabbed 12 rebounds. I think that was a career high for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the same ceiling as a rebounder, but at the same time, I'd rather have a big who can hit 40% of his threes and protect the rim than a guy who's like an elite rebounder. Like those things in the grand scheme of your offense and just building a team are more important to me.
Part of the reason he struggles with the rebounding is he's young and his body he's still got to fill out some on the defensive side of the ball. But with the way the game is played, the bigs are further away from the rim now.
Yeah.
And we are taking more threes. So it's a lot more long rebounds. So if you are facing a big who's under the rim, and Jaren is most of the time, that box out underneath the rim, and the ball is not going that way. It's bouncing off and going further back. And on the offensive side for Jaren, reason why he's not getting more offensive rebounds, I would say, is because he is the shooter. He's the one that has to space the floor. And that can be beneficial for you and your team as well because Jaren is on the court, that big has to step out and respect his ability to shoot the three. Well, that big is now no longer down there to box out. That big is now no longer in the paint to try and get the board, which frees up opportunities for hyper-athletic slashers like Brandon Clark, Ja Morant, DeAnthony Melton, who can go in there and beat their man on the box out one-on-one and go get the ball, like ball hawks, ball hunters. It frees them up to do that. So I'm with you on it is more valuable. He is more valuable as a do-it-all offensive scorer than he is an elite rebound.
For sure. You can rebound as a team pretty well and be fine. But you mentioned DeAnthony Melton. DeAnthony Melton is an elite rebounder for a guard. Like, look at his rebounding percentages. Like, he has great feel, but he also has really long arms. And Melton, he does things that he occasionally kind of looks like an undersized big because he just has good timing, good positioning, and he's really good at rebounding. You know, like if you play Melton and you play Brandon Clark with Jaren, you're making up for those deficiencies. So that's a more than fair trade-off. You want Jaren shooting 8 threes a game at 40%. If he's shooting 8 threes a game, he's not going to have too many opportunities to grab those misses. Like that's just, it's just not going to happen. So that's something people talk about with Jaren, but I'm not going to say it isn't a big deal, but in the grand scheme, it's fine. In the grand scheme, it is fine. You can get rebounding elsewhere. And the things he's good at, he has become so good at that you can live with whatever else he isn't doing.
Yeah, we got to get to a break. We'll talk more NBA on the other side and get you set up for middays. You're listening to The Experience right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 Middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Give the gift of fun with Premier Lanes Entertainment Center. Located next door to Malco Oxford Commons Cinema, the area's largest family fun center features bowling, Action Alley Arcade, birthday parties, events, and more. Book your fun today at premierlanes.com.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-394-5859. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-394-5859. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-394-5859. 1-800-394-5859.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
This is Amari's jam right here. She's over here getting it.
There we go. All right.
I did not know that she was raised in Detroit. I guess I had never thought about Aaliyah as a like where she was from. This was the last like big song before she passed also.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is the music video I think she shot that she was coming on the plane home.
Oh,
from.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
verify that.
It is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't want to peddle falsehoods on the radio this morning. But
we peddle falsehoods all the time.
Right.
We recklessly speculate on here, which is just the peddling of falsehoods.
Right.
Welcome back into the experience. CJ Hurd, Amari Sankova filling in. Thank you so very much for filling in. Zach on the other side. Zach, what's going on middays today, man? Zach?
You said what?
What are you doing over there, man?
I was trying to get the update on the Cowboys head coaching situation.
Yeah. We got that on the text line. What's going on with middays today?
So coming up on middays, Drew Hill will join the program.
Okay.
To talk
5
U of M.
steps.
Yeah, talk U of M hoops. Brandon Lang will get your handicap, and then they'll have 2.5 questions.
Awesome. Texter on the text line, First Bank text line, 67129. Got you covered. He said Jerry Jones is trying to move Jason Garrett into a front office job and let him clean his glasses and Super Bowl trophies. There we go. That is what's going on with the Cowboys. That would make as much sense. I don't know why we would have 3 damn meetings to figure out. I guess they're trying to decide what type of cleaning supply to use to clean the trophies with. I don't know. For real, though. I don't know what is going on, why it is taking them so long to move on. And it makes me nervous. And it makes me nervous in a way that leads me to believe that this dude ain't out.
Yeah, just make a decision already.
Yeah.
I feel like
make the right decision. Fire him. Move on.
Well, Schefter said on Get Up on ESPN that the reason why they haven't made the decision was because they were trying to take a break, get everybody take a break.
Stop.
For New Year's Eve. New Year's.
People have fired their coaches already.
I know.
Washington has fired and hired a coach. The Giants have fired their coach. The Panthers have fired their coach. The coaching opening, the Browns did it right after the season. Monday, bye.
Right.
Go.
But I think I think in this case because with the Cowboys because they're still in a win now window because you still got to pay Dak, you still got to pay Amari, but even with those 2 guys expecting to sign or one of them going to get franchise tag, you're still walking into a situation where if you get the right coach, press the right buttons, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's not the right coach.
Right. So I guess to them it's like, let's make our due process. Let's make this thing work. Let's go ahead and go through the search, take our time with it, because we don't want to rush into signing a coach that we kind of sort of like.
Take your time with the firing. You don't have to hire a coach immediately after getting rid of Garrett, do you? You just get rid of him. What is going on?
Well, I mean, technically, Garrett's contract is pretty much up in like what 12 days. So it's not
okay.
So I mean, technically, they just can he's just being let go or won't be renewed.
Yeah, just say we're not renewing this dude, and keep it moving, man.
I feel like I'm a poor judge of
bless your heart.
of NFL coaching performance because I know that Jason Garrett and the Cowboys have not lived up to that Cowboys standard, set in the 90s, and by that measurement, Jason Garrett should probably go. That said, look at the Cowboys' last few seasons: 8-8 this past season, 10-6, 9-7, 13-3. They had a down year 4-12, but then 12-4, and then a few seasons being 500. That would be the greatest run in Lions history.
Yep.
You've just put together 4 straight seasons of at least 500.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about firing them. If you were a Lions coach, they would back up the Brinks truck. This is the best we've ever been.
You want to go ahead and fire Patricia and sign Garrett?
No, it doesn't matter who you hire. It's the Lions. Okay? You can hire me. It's going to be about the same.
Or they can hire me.
They can hire you. They can hire anybody, man.
You got to make them defend us, cover the field.
Cover the whole field, every inch of the field.
Every inch.
Doesn't matter. So I see the record, and I'm like, you get 2 playoff bids in the last 4 years. Maybe there's more on tap potential here. At the same time, he's been there long enough to do something, and, it's pretty clear that you need some new energy in there. So just go ahead and do it, Cowboys. Move on. You guys have a higher standard than the Lions, I guess, and that's just not cutting it. So
I did not know we were going to get this late into the show and get to the defeated Lion fan tape. But here we are. That is very good for the Lions. This ain't the Lions, though.
Yeah, no, this is not the Lions. Other teams have higher standards. So.
The Lions are the worst. I think the Lions might be the worst professional franchise in all of professional sports.
No, they are. They are. You know,
they are terrible.
Last time you have any sort of Super Bowl, anything is, like the 50s. Like, that's before my dad was born. Two generations of Lions fans that have just not sniffed any sustained success. So, yeah.
It never been to a Super Bowl. They won the NFL championship in 57.
57.
God bless you for still being a Lions fan. That's way worse than being a Washington fan.
Well, I'm a Lions supporter. I think I got rid of the fan title a couple years back. When Calvin Johnson retired, I think that broke me a little bit. So.
All right. Well, listen, thank you for joining us.
Man.
We appreciate it today. Didn't want to end on a dark and gloomy note for you personally.
Okay. That's all right. I'm good. I'm happy. It's all right. I enjoy talking about the Lions.
We got middays coming up next, y'all. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Experience right here. Well, you were listening to The Experience. Middays is coming up next right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
And the coach calls timeout. Wait a minute, you can't call timeout when you have leaks and Mother Nature is roaring through your home. A technical foul from outer space may be in order. Don't know about that, but we can measure your roof from outer space at BrianElderRoofing.com. So if you need repairs or wondering if you think you may have a claim, call me before you call your insurance company. And we've got 0% interest for 60 months with approved credit. We won't try to sell you a new roof.